Hello and welcome to the third sick day redo video. Before I begin, I recorded this over several months, starting in October, so if you see a hint of orange behind my microphone during the sections, and the pumpkin that I turned into a jack-o'-lantern, no, that's why. Similarly, some of this was done last week, which was Friday the 13th week, which is why you might see part of my red tie. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up the Bulbapedia sections for Archeops, Vanillite, Vanillish, Vanilluxe, and Sawsback, cover the anime sections for Archeops, Trubbish, Garbodor, Zorua, Zoroark, Minccino, Cinccino, Gothita, Gothorita, Gothitelle, Solosis, Duosion,
Reuniclus!
Ducklett, Swanna, Vanillite, Vanillish, Vanilluxe, Deerling, and Sawsback. Cover the Bulbapedia sections for Trubbish, Garbodor, Zorua, Zoroark, Minccino, Cinccino, Gothita, Gothorita, Gothitelle, Solosis, Duosion,
Reuniclus!
Ducklett, and Swanna, and cover the fan art section of Minccino. I'll be grouping each section with its respective Pokémon, and going in numerical order. I'll also be adding intermission sections, like I do for my normal videos, to make this easier. I've decided that, for some Pokémon, I'll also be adding information that I didn't talk about in the main videos, due to a lack of time, forgetfulness, or newer instances of places I know the Pokémon from. Before I move on, I feel like I should acknowledge that, for some of these Bulbapedia sections, they will be different than how I would have read them on their actual day, as the Bulbapedia articles have been updated with information for Pokémon, Legend ZA, and Pokopia. I also recorded these sections over several days, again, months ago, so it's possible that these might not be the most up-to-date version of the articles. Anyway, let's finish the Bulbapedia article of Archeops. Game data Pokédex entries in Gen 5 Black. They are intelligent and will cooperate to catch prey. From the ground, they use a running start to take flight. White. It runs better than it flies. It catches prey by running at speeds comparable to those of an automobile. Black 2 and White 2. It runs better than it flies. It takes off into the sky by running at a speed of 25 miles per hour. In Gen 6, X is Black's entry. Y is Black 2 and White 2's entry. Omega Ruby is Black and X's entry. And Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Sun. Although apparently able to fly, they tended to run along the ground, averaging speeds of roughly 25 miles per hour. Moon, they hunted in flocks. When one Archeops had the prey cornered, another would swoop on it. Ultra Sun, this ancient Pokemon's plumage is delicate, so if anyone other than an experienced professional tries to restore it, they will fail. Ultra Moon, said to be an ancestor of bird Pokemon, the muscles it uses to flap its wings are still weak, so it needs a long runway in order to take off. In Gen 8 Sword, it needs a running start to take off. If Archeops wants to fly, it first needs to run nearly 25 miles per hour, building speed over a course of about 2.5 miles. Shield, though capable of flight, Archeops was apparently better at hunting on the ground. Archeops in the Alola Pokedex. Game locations, side game locations. Stats, base stats, HP 75, attack 140, defense 65, special attack 112, special defense 65, speed 110, for a total of 567. Type effectiveness, damage normally by fighting, ghost, grass, psychic, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to rock, steel, water, electric, and ice, all for double, immune to ground, resistant to normal, flying, poison, bug, and fire, all for half. Notes, if gravity is in effect, this Pokemon is given a ring target or is affected by smackdown or ingrain. The effectiveness of ground-type moves is 2. So go from 0 to 2. If this Pokemon is given an Iron Ball, the effectiveness of ground-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up will go down to 37. 41... Dragon Claw, 46 Thrash, and 51 Endeavor. By TM/GR we're skipping. By breeding we're skipping. By tutoring, the Sword and Shield expansion pass, you can get Dual Wing Beat, Lash Out, and Meteor Beam. Nothing by prior evolution. By transfer from another generation, 5 through 7 Aerial Ace and Aqua Tail. 6 and 7 Confide, 5 and 6 Cut. 5 through 7 Dragon Tail, Frustration, and Hidden Power. Frustration and Hidden Power don't work anymore. 5 and 6 Home Claws. 5 through 7 Return, Roar, and Rock Polish. Return doesn't work anymore. 5 and 6 Rock Smash. 5 through 7 Roost. 6 Secret Power, that doesn't work anymore. And 5 through 7 Sky Attack, Smackdown, Swagger, Torment, and Toxic. Side game data, I got all this. New Pokemon Snap in the Pokédex entry. Archeops is a powerful runner, so it can escape from predators even if it's on the ground. It's not great at flying though, and it needs a running start before it takes off. Evolution data. Arkin, level 37 Archeops. Sprites here. So a lot darker colors, like Arkin's was, particularly in the blue. Shiny, green, blue, orange, and that kind of darker yellow, maybe like a gold color, kind of like Arcan's was as well. In Gen 6, they get the models in much lighter colors. Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation. Archeops in Pokemon the series, black and white. In the manga, Archeops in Pokemon Adventures. In the TCG. Trivia. Archeops has the highest base attack stat of all non-legendary or Mega Evolved Flying type Pokemon. Archeops is the only Pokemon with a base stat total of 567. It is also the only Pokemon whose base stat total matches its national Pokedex number. This number is also part of the Dewey Decimal Number 567.9, the number for feathered dinosaurs. Archeops' Japanese name is the first Pokemon name in Gojuon order, the equivalent of English alphabetical order used to sort words in Japanese. I read this last point in the sub-points in the Archon video, Origin. Archeops appears to draw inspiration from the Archaeopteryx, once believed by scientists to be the earliest of all birds. This is also referenced by its species as the first bird Pokemon. Its body shape also resembles that of a Microraptor, which notably had feathers on its legs, like this Pokemon, may also be based on the feathered serpents of ancient Mesoamerican mythologies, as well as European dragons in general. Name origin, Archeops and Archeos may be derived from Archaeopteryx and ops, common suffix in names of prehistoric animals derived from the ancient Greek word for face. Archeops may also allude to Cheops, the Greek name for Egyptian pharaoh Khufu. And other languages, related articles to the fossils and fossil Pokemon. External links, let's move on. Now let's watch the first scene of the anime featuring Archeops. Hello and welcome to the Archeops anime portion of the video. We are watching episode 693, Archeops in the Modern World. We're on Pokeflix today, as something's gone wrong with my DVD, so I can't watch this scene there. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his traveling companions, Iris and Silent, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris's Exu, have witnessed Professor Juniper and Dr. Fennel restore a plume fossil into an Archon, and Archon's been around throughout the episode, and throughout the episode, it's been growing this ancient tree around Dr. Fennel's mansion, and now it's eaten a bunch of the fruit that the tree has produced, and now it's evolving. Professor Juniper. There's Archeops. I would say that's the first scene of Archeops in the anime. Let's move on. Before I move on to Trubbish's Bulbapedia section, something I didn't bring up in the Trubbish and Garbodor videos was that they are among the controversial Pokemon introduced in this generation. This controversy wasn't the same as, say, the Jinx controversy. Instead, it's more that some fans thought, and may still think, that a Pokemon based on trash was lazy and uninspired, particularly when one compares it to the amazing designs of Gen 3 and 4. Fans of Trubbish and Garbodor, myself included, often point to Grimer and Muck, who are well beloved within the Pokemon community, as a point of comparison. Grimer and Muck are just based on toxic sludge, but one could argue that they are far less inspired than Trubbish and Garbodor, as they also include the bag the trash would normally be in. I also forgot to bring up how I know Trubbish from its video in the animated Pokédex series, and its cameo in the opening cutscene of Detective Pikachu. An instance I couldn't have brought up in the Trubbish video, but can now, is that I know Trubbish from the extended trailer for Pokopia. Anyway, let's get into Trubbish's Bulbapedia section. Hello and welcome to the Trubbish Bulbapedia section of the video. This section is about Trubbish, the trash bag Pokemon, whose number is 0568. This is what it looks like. Its type is Poison, ability is Stench or Sticky Hold. Aftermath is its hidden ability. Gender ratio is 50-50, catch rate is 190 or 35.2%. Breeding is a group mineral, hatch time 20 cycles, height is 2 foot or 0.6 meters, weight is 68.3 pounds or 31 kilograms. Base experience yield is 66, leveling rate is medium fast, EV yield is 1. 1 in speed. Shape is that, footprint is that. Pokedex color is green, and base friendship is 70. Trubbish is a poison-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Garbodor, starting at level 36. Biology, Trubbish is a Pokemon which resembles a full, dark green garbage bag with a knot at the top that acts like ears. Trubbish has oval-shaped eyes and large triangular teeth that resemble broken glass. Its arms look like trash spilling out of small tears in the bag, with pink and blue objects protruding out of them. Its feet are dark green and stubby. This artificial Pokemon was created when a mixture of domestic and industrial waste underwent a chemical reaction of some sort. Trubbish emits noxious, burp-like gases which, when inhaled, will render the victim bedridden for a week. This gas can also prove fatal when inhaled by young Pokemon and children, as evidenced in the Pokemon the Series Black and White episode. Here comes the Trubbish squad. Trubbish's ear, like tufts, stand straight up when startled, are lifted if happy, and lowered if it is feeling down. Furthermore, in the same episode, it is also explained that once Trubbish befriends a person, it will cease expelling foul odors. It prefers unsanitary places such as garbage dumps, where it finds trash and other rotten stuff, such as moldy apples for food. Alolan Grimer is a common enemy of Trubbish, and Alolan Muck preys on it. Galarian Weezing feed on the fumes produced by Trubbish. Evolution, Trubbish evolves into Garbodor, so Trubbish, Garbodor. Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black. Inhaling the gas they belch will make you sleep for a week. They prefer unsanitary places. White. The combination of garbage bags and industrial waste caused the chemical reaction that created this Pokemon. Like to Maitu, wanting more garbage, they follow people who litter. They always belch poison gas. In Gen 6, X is White Sentry, Y is Black Sentry, Omega Ruby is White and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Sun, unsanitary places are what they like best. They can be spotted in Alola, often with Grimer in hot pursuit. Moon, it gorges on trash until its stomach is full, then it belches toxic gas. An unlucky whiff of gas will put a person in the hospital. Ultra Sun, poisonous gas leaks out of it when it breathes. Muck that catch a whiff of that stench will come drooling. Ultra Moon, if a young Pokemon or child breathes in the toxic gas that Trubbish belches out, it could be a life-threatening situation. In Gen 8, Sword, its favorite places are unsanitary ones. If you leave trash lying around, you could even find one of these Pokemon living in your room. Shield, this Pokemon was born from a bag stuffed with trash. Galarian Weezing relished the fumes belched by Trubbish. The Gen 9 entry is X and Omega Ruby's entry. White, X and Omega Ruby's entry. Spin-off games. So this is a new section, regardless of if you're watching this in the Pokemon Year Cycle playlist, the Year 11 playlist, or just as a video. Because this is new, if you are watching this in the Pokemon Year Cycle playlist, this doesn't appear in the videos up until the EG/ video. What I'm going to do for this video is only talk about the spin-off games section for the Pokemon that have an entry in Pokopia, or at least the Pokemon that didn't appear in Pokopia when I released this video. This is why I didn't talk about this in the Archeops Bulbapedia section. Anyway, I wasn't expecting there to be Pokedex entries in Pokopia, but when I found out that there were Pokedex entries, I wasn't expecting them to be in this group. I was expecting it to be in the side game data section with the other games that have Pokedex-like entries. Anyway, this Pokedex entry appears to be Sword's entry. We'll see if this continues to be the case or if we'll get new ones. Trubbish in the Alola Pokedex. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items in Black, White, Black 2, and White 2. It has the Black Sludge 5% of the time, and the Nugget in the Dark Grass only 1% of the time. In XY, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire, it has the Black Sludge 5% of the time. In Sun, Moon, Ultra Moon, Sword, and Shield, it has the Silk Scarf 5% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP and Attack 50, Defense 62, Special Attack 40, Special Defense 62, Speed 65 for a total of 329. Type effectiveness, damage normally by Normal, Flying Rock, Ghost, Steel, Fire, Water, Electric, Ice, Dragon, and Dark. Weak to Ground and Psychic for double, immune to nothing. Resistant to Fighting, Poison, Bug, Grass, and Fairy, all for half. Learn set by leveling up. 1 pound in poison gas, 3 recycle, 6 acid spray, 9 amnesia, 12 clear smog, 15 toxic spikes, 18 sludge, 21 stockpile and swallow, 24 takedown, 27 sludge bomb, 30 toxic, 33 belch, 37 pain split, 39 gunk shot, and 42 explosion. TN/TR, TM, 20 self-destruct, 21 rest, 23 thief, 24 snore, 25 protect, 28 giga drain, 31 attract, 33 rain dance, 34 sunny day, 39 facade, 54 rock blast, 57 payback, 63 drain punch, 74 venoshock, and 76 round. For the TRs, TR 17 amnesia, 20 substitute, 22 sludge bomb, 23 spikes, 26 endure, 27 sleep talk, 54 toxic spikes, 58 dark pulse, 59 seed bomb, 73 gunk shot, 78 sludge wave, and 91 venom drench. By breeding, this group gives it autotomize, this group gives it curse, this group gives it haze, this group gives it rollout, and this group gives it sand attack. By tutoring in the Sword and Shield expansion pass, it can get corrosive gas, it's a status poison move, its accuracy is 100% and PB haha is 40. By transfer for another generation, 6 and 7 can fight, 5 through 7 double slap, double team, frustration and hidden power, double slap, frustration, and hidden power don't work anymore. 6 and 7 infestation, 5 through 7 mud support and return, neither work anymore. 6 secret power that doesn't work anymore, and 5 through 7 spite and swagger. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 Winters Beyond in the Pokepark bad entry. Even though they are scared of the Big Eater Munchlax, they still sort of like him. New Pokemon Snap in the Photodex entry. Trubbish love to eat garbage, and when they've eaten their fill, they belch up poison gas. There was an unfortunate incident once when Trubbish belched inside the lab. It's not allowed inside anymore. Evolution data. Trubbish, level 36 Garbodor. Sprites here, so darker colors, particularly in the green. And then shiny is the blue, replaces the green, and this sort of green tint replaces the brown. Looks like it's also a lighter blue, and maybe yellow-green replaces the pink-red. Gen 6, you get the models in the much lighter colors. So it looks like this is much more pink. This is much more yellow. In Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation. Trubbish and Pokemon Horizons, the series. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 12. In Ash's Pokedex, Trubbish, the trash bag Pokemon. Trubbish preferred to live in dirty places, like garbage dumps. It is said they were born when a chemical reaction occurred between an abandoned trash bag and industrial waste. Pokemon Twilight Wings, Trubbish and Pokemon Twilight Wings. I got a Poketoon about it. In the manga, Trubbish and Pokemon Adventures, got all this. In the TCG, trivia, Trubbish was revealed internationally in the opening for Pokemon Black and White. Trubbish and Garbodor share similar traits to Grimer and Coughing. All 4 Pokemon are pure Poison-type Pokemon with a single evolved form, roughly the same base stat totals and evolution levels, and appear to be based on different kinds of pollution, with Trubbish and Garbodor based on land pollution. Origin, Trubbish is based on a trash bag. It and Garbodor were created as a way to represent city pollution. Name origin, Trubbish may be a combination of trash and rubbish. Yabu-Kuron may be a combination of Yabu-Ku to tear, or Yabu-Keru to get torn, Buku, loose-fitting, and Fukuro, bag. Languages, related articles, references, external links, let's move on. Now let's watch the first scene of the anime featuring Trubbish. Hello and welcome to the Trubbish anime portion of the video. We are watching episode 669. Quite fittingly, here comes the Trubbish squad. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character's traveling companions, Iris and Silent, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu, are on their journey when they hear something in the distance. There's Trubbish with his kids. And that's the first scene of Trubbish in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's look at Garbodor's Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Garbodor Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the trash heap Pokemon. Its number is 0569. This is Garbodor, this is what it looks like. This is Gigantamax Garbodor, this is what it looks like. Type, Poison. Abilities, Stench or Weak Armor. Aftermath is its hidden ability. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 60 or 14.8%. Breeding is a group mineral. Hatch time 20 cycles. As Garbodor, it's 6'3" or 1.9 meters and 236.6 pounds or 107.3 kilograms. As Gigantamax Garbodor, it's 68 feet and 11 inches or more and 21 meters or more, and its weight is unknown. Base experience yields 166, leveling rate is medium fast. AV yield is 2, in attack, shape is that, footprint is that, Pokedex color is green, and base friendship is 70. Garbodor is a poison-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Trubbish starting at level 36. Garbodor can Gigantamax into Gigantamax Garbodor if it has the Gigantamax factor. Biology, Garbodor is a Pokemon which has the appearance of a pile of trash spilling out of a large, torn garbage bag. It has a round, lumpy body that is mostly tan with blue and pink lumps. Its head has the appearance of the tied end of a garbage bag that has been ripped open and trails down like a cape. It has 2 appendages that look like clumps of garbage coming from its head. Its large, round eyes have small pupils, and when it opens its mouth, its large, triangular teeth can be seen. Garbodor has 2 long arms made of garbage, one held together with piping, with fingers also made up of piping material, and the other held together with rebar. It has 1 finger on its left hand and 3 on the other. It also has flat, dumpy feet. Garbodor is able to spray poisonous gas and filth from its fingertips, but only from its right hand. The toxic liquid from its right arm is so virulent it can kill a weakened foe instantly. If that filth is blocked, its arm can swell up, causing it considerable pain and discomfort. It can also finish off opponents by belting them with its left arm and spewing an awful-smelling toxic gas from its mouth. Garbodor prefers to live in unsanitary places such as garbage dumps, where it devours garbage in order to grow larger. Consuming garbage also allows Garbodor to create poisons in its body, the type of which depends on the kind of garbage eaten. Alola was once home to many Garbodor, but the population shrank precipitously after Alolan, Grimer, and Muck, which prey on Garbodor, were introduced to its habitat. This is said to have made the remaining Garbodor population stronger than its counterparts from other regions. Forms, Garbodor has a Gigantamax form. As Gigantamax Garbodor, its toxic gases become thicker and congeal into the shape of discarded toys, namely a toy car, blocks, a toy airplane, a toy cruise ship, a substitute doll, a polka doll, a master ball, a fish skeleton resembling Magikarp, and a toy train. Its feet seem to disappear underneath its body, which has dark blue, pink, and light green spots all over. Its eyes glow pink, and 3 red clouds float around the head. Its fingers no longer have visible holes in them, although they can still spray toxic gas. This toxic gas, which is also released through Gigantamax Garbodor's mouth, is capable of seeping deep into its victim's bones. Gigantamax Garbodor is the only known Pokemon capable of using the G-Max move, G-Max Malodor. Gigantamax Garbodor. Evolution, Garbodor evolves from Trubbish, so Trubbish Garbodor. Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black. It clinches opponents with its left arm, and finishes them off with foul-smelling poison gas belched from its mouth. White. They absorb garbage and make it part of their bodies. They shoot a poisonous liquid from their right hand. Fingertips. Black 2 and White 2. Consuming garbage makes new kinds of poison, gases, and liquids inside their bodies. In Gen 6, X is Black's entry, Y is Black 2 and White 2's entry. Omega Ruby is Black and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Sun. Beware the poisonous liquid. It shoots from its right arm. If even a little of it gets on you, you'll experience the effects of the unidentified toxin. Moon. For a time, their numbers increased explosively in Alola. Since the arrival of Grimer, their population has decreased dramatically. Ultrasun. It locks opponents in place with its left hand, immobilizing them by entirely dousing their bodies with poisonous liquid. Ultramoon. Some say the reason Garbodor and Alola are a little stronger than their counterparts elsewhere is the presence of Muck, their natural enemy. In Gen 8, for regular Garbodor, Sword. This Pokemon eats trash, which turns into poison inside its body. The main component of the poison depends on what sort of trash was eaten. Shield. The toxic liquid it launches from its right arm is so virulent that it can kill a weakened creature instantly. For Gigantamax Garbodor, Sword. Due to Gigantamax energy, this Pokemon's toxic gas has become much thicker, congealing into masses shaped like discarded toys. Shield. It sprays toxic gas from its mouth and fingers. If the gas engulfs you, the toxins will seep in all the way down to your bones. In Gen 9, Legend ZA is Black 2, White 2, Y, and Alpha Sapphire's entry. The spin-off game's entry is the Sword entry for regular Garbodor. Garbodor in the Alola Pokedex. It's got this image here, which is interesting since it appears to be a mirrored image, because these are on the wrong hands otherwise. So that's interesting. Game locations. Side game locations. In events, held items. In Black, White, Black 2, and White 2, it is the Black Sludge 50% of the time. Nugget 5% of the time. And Big Nugget in the Dark Grass only 1% of the time. In X and Y, it has Black Sludge 50% of the time. And Nugget 5% of the time. In Sun, Moon, Sword, and Shield, it has the Silk Scarf 50% of the time. And Black Sludge 5% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 80, attack 95. Defense 82, special attack 60, special defense 82, speed 75 for a total of 474. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, rock, ghost, steel, fire, water, electric, ice, dragon, and dark. Weak to ground and psychic for double, immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, poison, bug, grass, and fairy, all for half. Learn step by leveling up will go down to 36. 39 pain split, 43 gunk shot, and 48 explosion. By TM/TR we're skipping. By breeding we're skipping. By tutoring in the Sword and Shield expansion pass, it can get corrosive gas as a status poison move. Its accuracy is 100% and PB haha is 40. Nothing by prior evolution. By transfer from another generation. 6 and 7 Confide, 5 through 7 Double Slap, Double Team, Frustration, and Hidden Power. Double Slap, Frustration, and Hidden Power don't work anymore. 6 and 7 Infestation, 5 through 7 Mud Sport, Return, and Rock Polish, Mud Sport, and Return don't work anymore. 6 Secret Power, that doesn't work anymore. And 5 through 7 Smackdown, Spite, and Swagger. Side game data for Garbodor, you got all this. Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond in the Pokepark Pet entry. He couldn't stand the brightness of Covetown and came to the tech area. He cares about Trubbish. You got all this. For Gigantamax Garbodor, you got all this. Form data, Gigantamax, Garbodor, Gigantamax Factor, Dynamax Band. Lasts for 3 turns. Gigantamax Garbodor. Evolution data, Trubbish, level 36 Garbodor. Sprites here, so of course darker colors, like Trubbish. While the shiny is blue, it's a different blue than Trubbish's was, and the body is a lot more gray than the sort of greenish color that the other one was. But these are still orange and green, that's interesting. And Gen 6, the models, pretty good adaptation I'd say. Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. And you got Gigantamax as well. See all the different things. And of course the shiny Gigantamax. It's kind of like the other one because this is just like a bigger version. So this is basically a bigger version of the shiny. Although the items are a little different. Oh, that's interesting. So it's like pink for the orange for the top, orange for the green, blue for the pink one. Toy Boat has orange highlights instead of red. The car is green instead of that yellow. And the plane is orange instead of the blue. The new color blue is green. Homes, you get these models. So these ships are actually different than the Sword and Shield model. You can see they're like this, but these are like this. Animation, Garbodor, and Pokemon Journeys the series. Got all this. Gigantamax Garbodor and Pokemon Journeys the series. This is interesting because this is a different ship than the one that's in the official art or even in the models. Although it appears much closer to the one in the models. The car also appears to be much more in the mud, like the home models and the official art, rather than being more on top of it, like in the Sword and Shield model, although it's kind of between the two. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 55, in Ash's Pokedex. Garbodor, the trash heap Pokemon, in the evolved form of Trubbish. Garbodor can absorb garbage into its body. When battling, it fires poison from its right arm, and belches poison gas. In Black and White, episode 84, in the same Pokedex. Garbodor, the trash heap Pokemon, in the evolved form of Trubbish. When Garbodor inhales garbage, it becomes part of its body. The fingertips on Garbodor's right hand spray a powerful liquid poison. In the manga, Gigantamax Garbodor in Pokemon Adventures. Dokkan's Garbodor Burst in Pokemon Rebirth. Interesting. All this. In the TCG, I read this first point in the Trubbish video. Garbodor is the only Pokemon introduced in Gen 5 to have a Gigantamax form. It is also the only Pokemon with a Core Series debut outside of Kanto or Galar to have a Gigantamax form. Origin, Garbodor is based on a garbage bag that is bursting with garbage. It and Trubbish were created as a way to represent city pollution. Its visual design and shiny variants gray coloration may be references to the phrase dust bunny, clumps of lint, as Garbodor seems to be a conscious pile of garbage. It might be based on Tsukumogami, objects that have been possessed by spirits in Japanese folklore. Gigantamax Garbodor appears to be based on a landfill. There are a few objects that can be distinguished from a variety of trash on Garbodor's body. Those objects are a Pokédoll, a substitute doll, a toy plane similar to Latios on Gigantamax Garbodor's shiny variant, a toy ship, a toy car, building made of toy bricks, a skeleton of a Magikarp, a Master Ball, and a toy train. Name origin, Garbodor may be a combination of garbage and odor. Dust Das may be a combination of Dasuto, dust, trash, refuse, and Dasu to take out. Now the languages, related articles, references, external links to the Gigantamax forms. Let's move on. Now let's watch Garbodor's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the Garbodor anime section of the video. We're watching episode 712, Scraggy and the Demanding Gothita. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character's traveling companions, Iris and Silent, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris Zexu, have met a fellow trainer, Catherine, and her Gothita, who has taken a liking to Ash's Scraggy, and late one night they went out to get food for Gothita. Axu, who's friends with Scraggy, was concerned, and so he followed the two, and Gothita and Axu fought over Scraggy for a bit, resulting in Gothita going flying. There's the Garbodor. Gothita. I would say that's Garbodor's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Before we get into the Zorua Bulbapedia article, I forgot to mention how I most know Zorua as one of the Pokemon of Luke, a recurring character in the Gen 5 era of the anime. It's mostly how I know that Zorua can appear like other Pokemon and people. As Luke's Zorua does this throughout her appearances. I also forgot to mention how I know Zorua from the cover of Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond. Something I couldn't bring up in the video, but is true now, is that Hisuian Zorua was on the December 2025 title screen and app icon of Pokemon Cafe Remix. It was also a Pokemon that one could get through deliveries. Anyway, let's get into the Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Zorua Bulbapedia section of the video. As non-Hisuian Zorua, it's the tricky fox Pokemon, but as Hisuian Zorua, it's the spiteful fox Pokemon. Its number is 0570. This is non-Hisuian Zorua, this is what it looks like. This is Hisuian Zorua, this is what it looks like. Types, Dark as non-Hisuian Zorua, and Normal Ghost as Hisuian Zorua. Ability, Illusion. Gender ratios, 87.5% male and 12.5% female. Catch rate is 75 or 17.5%. Breeding is a group field, hatch time 25 cycles. Height is 2'4" or 0.7 meters. Weight is 27.6 pounds or 12.5 kilograms. Base experience yield is 66, leveling rate is medium slow. EV yield is 1, and special attack, shape is that, footprint is that. Pokedex color is gray, and base friendship is 70. Zorua is a dark type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Zoroark at level 30 in Hisui. Zorua has a dual-type normal/ghost regional form. It evolves to Hisuian Zoroark, starting at level 30. Both it and Zoroark were the first Gen 5 Pokemon to be revealed to the public on February 10th, 2010. Biology, Zorua is a slate gray, fox-like Pokemon with red and black accents. Its ears are triangular with dark insides, and it has a large tuft of fur tipped with red on top of its head. It has greenish-blue eyes with red eyelids. There are circular red markings above the eyes that resemble eyebrows. Its muzzle is short and tapered with 2 small fangs, seen in the upper jaw when its mouth is open. Zorua possesses a ruff of black fur around its neck and 4 short limbs tipped with red. Its tail is short and bushy. Zorua can change its physical appearance, though this transformation is merely an illusion, as it keeps its own type and moves. Zorua is said to have a timid nature, which led to the development of its illusion abilities. Zorua keeps its true form hidden to ensure its safety, and takes on the appearance of other Pokémon to frighten off enemies. It can let loose pitch-black shockwaves against its target. Sometimes it will take the form of a silent child in order to search for food. It has been known to occasionally replace normally talkative children. As seen in its movie debut, the tale of an unpracticed Zorua may remain when it takes on human form, and if the tail is touched, it will revert to its true form. Zorua is mischievous and loves to surprise others. Prior to Gen 7, Zorua and its evolved form, Zoroark, were the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Night Daze. Additionally, Zorua and Zoroark, as well as their regional forms, are the only known Pokemon that can have illusion as an ability. Form: Zorua has a regional form, Hisuian Zorua, exiled from other lands by humans because of their illusions and unable to survive in the Hisui region due to the harsh environment and conflicts with other Pokemon. The souls of deceased Zorua linger on in a new form, reborn by their malice towards humans and Pokemon alike. Hisuian Zorua's fur is mainly light gray with red and white accents. Its ears are primarily gray with split cuts and a slight red tint at the tips. Its eyes have golden yellow irises and pink eyelids, and its limbs are tipped in black. The tuft of fur on its head, the ruff around its neck, and its tail are all white at their bases, with long wisps of fur that fade to red at the tips, and they are all smoother in appearance. Unlike Unovan Zorua, it has a melancholy expression rather than a mischievous one. Hisuian Zorua retains its ability to cast illusions, but accomplishes this by constantly unleashing its spiteful power of malice through its ghostly fur, specifically atop its head. It can attack its targets with a spine-chilling resentment. This power comes from Hisuian Zorua's own resentment of everything. Shiny Hisuian Zorua casting an illusion. If it encounters a lone human or Pokemon, Zorua may appear to make them masked in a horrifying illusion of their own likeness. It seems to draw strength from the terror it inflicts on its victims. Hisuian Zorua tends to reside in the cold areas where it lingers onto. Like its Unova counterpart, Hisuian Zorua can make its illusion of other Pokemon to the point of easily fooling anyone in order to get food. Hisuian Zorua and Zoroark are the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Bitter Malice. Evolution: Zorua evolves into Zoroark, so Zoroark. Hisuian Zorua evolves into Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark. Game data and PC appearances: Pokemon Rumble Blast. Zorua is one of Cobalion's minions. It acts as a guide during Chapter 3 and helps the player to Fire Breathing Mountain, where it reveals its true intentions and calls in an army of fossil Pokemon, as well as a Zoroark. It was later rusted when Cobalion's forces tried to infiltrate the World Axle. After the game's events, it makes a full recovery and returns to Westerly Town. Pokédex entries in Gen 5 Black. It changes into the forms of others to surprise them. Apparently, it often transforms into a silent child. White. To protect themselves from danger, they hide their true identities by transforming into people and Pokemon. Black 2 and White 2. It changes so it looks just like its foe, tricks it, and then uses that opportunity to flee. In Gen 6, X is Black 2 and White 2's entry, Y is White's entry, Omega Ruby is Black 2, White 2, and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is White and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Ultra Sun, this Pokemon has a cowardly disposition, so when it's not around friends, it basically always stays transformed as something else. Ultra Moon. If a normally talkative child suddenly stops talking, it may have been replaced by Zorua. In Gen 8, for non-Hisuian Zorua, Sword, Zorua is a timid Pokemon. This disposition seems to be what led to the development of Zorua's ability to take on the forms of other creatures. Shield, Zorua sometimes transforms into a person and goes into cities to search for food. When Zorua does this, it usually takes on the form of a child. For Hisuian Zorua, Legends Arceus, a once-departed soul, returned to life in Hisui, derives power from resentment, which rises as energy atop its head and takes on the forms of foes. In this way, Zorua vents lingering malice. In Gen 9, Scarlet is Black Sentry, Violet is White, Y and Alpha Sapphire Sentry. The spin-off game Sentry is Sword Sentry. Zorua in the Alola Pokedex and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Zorua in the Paldea Pokedex. You can see it's in the city here. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items for Hisui and Zorua and Legends Arceus. For normal, it has the Hoppo Berry 30% of the time. Spoiled Apricorn 15% of the time, and grid items by level. Alpha, XP Candy S 100% of the time, Seed of Mastery 10% of the time, and grid items by level. I still don't know how the math works. Stats, base stats. We'll compare non-Hisuian Zorua and Hisuian Zorua. So HP 40, this one has 35, attack 65, this one has 60, defense 40, that's the same. Special attack 80, this one's 85. Special defense 40, that's the same. Speed 65, this one's 70. They both have a total of 330. Type effectiveness, we'll compare non-Hisuian Zorua and Hisuian Zorua. Non-Hisuian Zorua is damaged normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, and dragon. While Hisuian Zorua is damaged normally by flying, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy. So the ones that are the same between them are flying, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, and dragon. Non-Hisuian Zorua is weak to fighting, bug, and fairy for double, while Hisuian Zorua is weak to dark for double. Non-Hisuian Zorua is immune to psychic, while Hisuian Zorua is immune to normal, fighting, and ghost. Non-Hisuian Zorua is resistant to ghost and dark for half, while Hisuian Zorua is resistant to poison and bug for half. In the Zorua box here, notes, if Miracle Eye is used by an opponent or this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Psychic-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. In the Hisuian Zorua box, notes, if Foresight or Odor Sleuth is used by an opponent, the opponent has Scrappy or this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Normal-type moves is 1, so we go from 0 to 1, and the effectiveness of Fighting-type moves is 2, so we go from 0 to 2. If this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Ghost-type moves is 2. So go from 0 to 2. Linset by leveling up. 1 Scratch and Leer for Torment, 8 Hone Claws, 12 Fury Swipes, 16 Scary Face, 20 Taunt, 24 Knockoff, 28 Fake Tears, 32 Agility, 36 Imprison, 40 Night Days, 44 Nasty Plot, and 48 Foul Play. For Hisuian Zorua, 1 Scratch and Leer for Torment, 8 Hone Claws, 12 Shadow Sneak, 16 Curse, 20 Taunt, 24 Knockoff, 28 Spite, prior to version 2.0.1, 32 Agility, 36 Shadow Ball, 40 Bitter Malice, 44 Nasty Plot, and 48 Foul Play. By TM for Zorua, TM001 Takedown, 3 Fake Tears, 4 Agility, 6 Scary Face, 7 Protect, 17 Confuse Ray, 18 Thief, 25 Facade, 29 Hex, 30 Snarl, 32 Swift, 42 Nightshade, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 49 Sunny Day, 50 Rain Dance, 55 Dig, 60 U-Turn, 61 Shadow Claw, 62 Foul Play, 70 Sleep Talk, 81 Grass Knot, 85 Rest, 87 Taunt, 88 Swords Dance, 92 Imprison, 94 Dark Pulse, 103 Substitute, 109 Trick, 114 Shadow Ball, 117 Hyper Voice, 122 Encore, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 140 Nasty Plot, 148 Sludge Bomb, 171 Terror Blast, 172 Roar, 177 Spite, 181 Knockoff, 195 Burning Jealousy, 199 Lash Out, 202 Pain Split, 203 Suck Up, and 219 Skitter Smack. For Hisuian Zorua, TM001 Takedown, 3 Fake Tears, 4 Agility, 7 Protect, 17 Confuse Ray, 18 Thief, 25 Facade, 29 Hex, 30 Snarl, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 42 Nightshade, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 50 Rain Dance, 52 Snowscape, 55 Dig, 60 U-Turn, 61 Shadow Claw, 62 Foul Play, 70 Sleep Talk, 85 Rest, 87 Taunt, 92 Imprison, 94 Dark Pulse, 103 Substitute, 107 Will-O-Wisp, 109 Trick, 114 Shadow Ball, 129 Calm Mind, 140 Nasty Plot, 148 Sludge Bomb, 151 Phantom Force, 152 Giga Impact, 163 Hyper Beam, 171 Terra Blast, 172 Roar, 177 Spite, 181 Knockoff, 192 Focus Punch, 195 Burning Jealousy, 199 Lash Out, 202 Pain Split, 203 Psych Up, 219 Skitter Smack, and 224 Curse. By breeding for non-Hisuian Zorua, this group gives it Copycat, this group gives it Counter, this group gives it Detect, this group gives it Extrasensory, this group gives it Memento, and this group gives it Sucker Punch. For Hisuian Zorua, this group gives it Comeuppance, this group gives it Detect, this group gives it Extrasensory, and this group gives it Memento. TCG only moves, Lunge on this card. Side game data, Zorua. Got all this. Pokepark 2 wanders beyond the Pokepark pad entry. He traveled with Zoroark. He likes Zoroark very much. The two have settled in the Arbor area. Got all this. For Hisuian Zorua, got all this. Evolution data for non-Hisuian Zorua. Non-Hisuian Zorua, level 30. Non-Hisuian Zoroark. For Hisuian Zorua, level 30. Hisuian Zoroark. Sprites here, so probably slightly different colors. Maybe a little bit more simplified. Shiny is brown and blue with red eyes. That's interesting. And then Gen 6, you get the models, and a little bit lighter colors. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Gen 7. It gets slightly different. Wait, its head gets smaller. That's interesting. Yeah, it's like, It's like the tuft is wildly different, too. It's like a whole different model. That's interesting. In Gen 8 and Sword and Shield, you get the much better models. And in Legends Arceus, you get the Hisuian Zora models. See, the shiny is blue for the red part, red and pink part, like various blues. The main body is dark gray, like regular Zoro's was. That's fun. The eyes seem to be much more like a gold than this kind of orange color. Yeah. Homes, get these models. Animation, Zorua and Pokemon the series, black and white. Zorua, movie 13 is the big one. Luke Zorua is another big one. Got all this. Pokedex entries in black and white, episode 38, in Ash's Pokedex. Zorua, the tricky fox Pokemon. Zorua hides its true form by changing its shape into people and Pokemon, and loves to surprise people. Pokemon Evolutions, Zorua and Pokemon Evolutions. Pokemon Hisuian Snow, shiny Hisuian Zorua and Pokemon Hisuian Snow. In the manga, Zorua and Pokemon Reburst. Zorua and Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. In the TCG, Trivia. Zorua, Zoroark, and their Hisuian forms were designed by Atsuko Nishida. No other Pokemon has the same type combination as Hisuian Zorua and its evolution. Incidentally, they are the only Pokemon possessing the only possible type combination to be immune to both of their types, as the normal and ghost types are the only types immune to each other. Zorua was first revealed with its evolved form in the March 2010 issue of Korokoro. Zorua and its evolved form are the only non-mythical Pokemon to have been event-exclusive for a time prior to the release of Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Zorua's Hisuian form was teased in a blurry, found-footage-style promotional video and was revealed in full 2 days later. A final trailer was released the next week showing its official artwork and information about it. Prior to version 1.2.0 of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Hisuian Zorua's base stats were the same as Unovan Zorua's. This change was undone when Hisuian Zorua became available in those games. Similar occurrences happened to Hisuian Zoroark and Kleavor. Prior to version 2.0.1, Hisuian Zorua was able to learn Spite at level 28. Origin, Zorua is based on a fox, possibly the Kitsune of Japanese folklore, a mythical fox capable of shapeshifting. The concept of a Zorua still having its tail while in human form may refer to how a Kitsune has difficulty in hiding its tail when it takes on human form in some stories. Its facial markings may draw inspiration from kabuki or no theater makeup. In addition, Zorua's habit of replacing children with itself is similar to Irish folklore about the changeling, fairy child that replaces human children kidnapped by fairies or, in some tales, the devil. Zorua also resembles the trickster characters of many cultures in both appearance and behavior. Such characters are often depicted as foxes. Hisuian Zorua may be based on vengeful ghosts and revenants. Its coloration may be based on kitsune masks, its ghost typing, as well as its Pokedex entry describing it as a once-departed soul may be inspired by Karanup Kamui, the Anu deity of foxes, with Chironop roughly translating to those whom we kill many. Name origin, Zorua may be a combination of Zoro, Spanish for fox, and Rua, Irish for red, possibly referring to its red fur. Rua is Irish for fox. The languages, related articles, references, external links to the Hisuian forms. Let's move on. Now let's watch Zorua's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the Zorua anime section of the video. Today we're watching Zoroark, Master of Illusions. In this film, all we really know is that there's this Zoroark on this plane. There's Zorua. Aww. Oh, there's the JoJo legendaries.
Mr. Kodai, all final preparations are complete.
Action. Start!
Zoroark.
I would say that's Zorua's first in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's look at Zoroark's Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Zoroark Bulbapedia section of the video. As non-Hisuian Zoroark is the Illusion Fox Pokemon, and as Hisuian Zoroark, it's the Baneful Fox Pokemon. Its number is 0571. This is non-Hisuian Zoroark, this is what it looks like. This is Hisuian Zoroark, this is what it looks like. Types, non-Hisuian Zoroark is Dark, and as Hisuian Zoroark, it's Normal Ghost. Abilities, Illusion, Gender ratios, 87.5% male and 12.5% female. Catch rate is 45 or 11.9%. Breeding is a group field. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 5'3" or 1.6 meters. Regardless, weight as non-Hisuian Zoroark is 178.8 pounds or 81.1 kilograms and 160.9 pounds or 73 kilograms as Hisuian Zoroark. Base experience seal is 179, leveling grade is medium slow, AVL is 2 and special attack, shape is that, favorite is that, Pokédex color is gray, and base friendship is 70. Zoroark is a dark type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolved from Zorua starting at level 30. In Hisui, Zoroark has a dual type normal/ghost regional form. It evolves from Hisuian Zorua starting at level 30. Both it and Zorua were the first Gen 5 Pokemon to be revealed to the public on February 10th, 2010. Zoroark initially debuted as a silhouette before being revealed in full. The Hisuian forms of it and Zorua were revealed in a teaser video on October 21st, 2021. Biology, Zoroark is a bipedal, slate gray fox-like Pokemon with crimson and black accents. It has a pointed snout and ears with red insides. It also has some red that rims its eyes and mouth. Zoroark has a large red, voluminous mane with black tips, tied into a ponytail. As a teal bangle down, its length separates a mass of the mane from the lower portion. It has a black ruff on its upper body, pointed at the shoulders from which its arms extend. Its upper arms are thin, whereas its lower arms, while still slim, are bulkier. The arms have spiky extensions of fur at the elbows, and it has red claws on its hands and feet. Zoroark's eyes are red-rimmed with light blue irises. Zoroark can create illusions that are indistinguishable from reality, deluding many people simultaneously. It can even create illusionary landscapes in the forests where it dwells, to hide its territory and protect its den. However, Zoroark is incapable of physically changing itself into another form. It is merely capable of casting illusions. When a Zoroark takes the form of a human, it is capable of human speech. It can make convincing illusions of attacks and these illusions are extremely realistic, enough to fool even cameras and make one believe they're being physically affected, though the illusion does not have any direct physical effect. Lonely trainers tend to use Zoroark to create illusions in order to ease their own burden of solitude. There are stories of Zoroark punishing people who tried to capture it with illusions. Zoroark lives in groups where unity is strong and is extremely protective of those it cares about and will go to any lengths to keep them safe, including risking its own life. And it can hold grudges against those who harm its loved ones. Zoroark will hide its Zorua young in its mane to protect them and carry them around. Prior to Gen 7, Zoroark and its pre-evolved form, Zorua, were the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Night Days. Additionally, Zoroark, its pre-evolved form, Zorua, and their regional forms are the only known Pokemon that can have illusion as an ability. Zoroark has a Hisuian regional form, Hisuian Zoroark. In the Hisui region, Zoroark takes on a drastic, ghostly appearance due to dying from the harsh conditions and being reborn through spite. Its main body color is now disheveled with light gray with red and white accents. Hisuian Zoroark's head and face are similar to its Unovan counterpart but colored gray. It has gray ears with black insides and 2 white marks on both sides of the face. The ears also have light red split parts. The long mane has changed into a longer mane that is colored white with the ends of each tips being colored light and dark red, while covering the right side of Zoroark's face. The arms and legs have several red spots and light red fur that dangles around. The claws and toes of Zoroark are colored black. The eyes are now red with yellow sclera. As a result of its appearance, Hisuian Zoroark was said to resemble an embodiment of death. The illusions channeled through Hisuian Zoroark's long, withering fur are full of spite. Uniquely, the spiteful illusion can cause physical harm to its opponent on both the inside and outside. Its power comes from the hatred it has for every living thing in the world. Hisuian Zoroark's illusion malice is powerful enough to drive anyone who sees it to insanity due to their terror. Hisuian Zoroark recklessly attacks its foes or nemesis to the point its own bitter energy can cause physical harm onto itself. Despite its extremely hostile and aggressive nature, Hisuian Zoroark can be compassionate to those it cares about, such as Hisuian Zorua, and it will become an invaluable ally once someone earns its trust. Hisuian Zoroark prefers to reside in the cold areas where it lingers onto. Unlike its Unova counterpart, Hisuian Zoroark can make its illusion of humans talking to the point of easily fooling anyone in order to get food. Hisuian Zoroark and Zorua are the only known Pokemon capable of learning the move Bitter Malice. Evolution: Zoroark evolves from Zorua, so Zorua's Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark evolves from Hisuian Zorua, so Hisuian Zoroark. Game data: Pokedex entries in Gen 5 Black. Bonds between these Pokemon are very strong. It protects the safety of its pack by tricking its opponents. White each has the ability to fool a large group of people simultaneously. They protect their lair with illusory scenery. Black 2 and White 2, stories say those who tried to catch Zoroark were trapped in an illusion and punished. In Gen 6, X is White's entry, Y is Black's entry, Omega Ruby is White and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire's Black and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Ultra Sun, it doesn't just transform itself, it also has the power to make hundreds of people see its illusions. Ultra Moon, if it thinks humans are going to discover its den, Zoroark shows them visions that make them wander around the woods. In Gen 8, for non-Hisuian Zoroark, Sword, this Pokemon cares deeply about others of its kind and will conjure terrifying illusions to keep its den and pack safe. Shield, seeking to ease the burden of solitude, lonely trainers tell Zoroark to show illusions to them. For Hisuian Zoroark, in Legends Arceus, with its disheveled white fur, it looks like an embodiment of death. Heedless of its own safety, Zoroark attacks its nemesis with a bitter energy so intense it lacerates Zoroark's own body. In Gen 9, Scarlet is Black 2 and White 2's entry. Violet is White X and Omega Ruby's entry. The spin-off game's entry is Sword's entry. Zoroark in the Alola Pokedex. Zoroark in the Paldea Pokedex. You can see it sort of over the city, probably a reference to werewolves because of the moon there. Game locations, side game locations, and events. Held items for Hisuian Zoroark In Legends Arceus, Normal has the Hoppleberry 30% of the time, and Spoiled Apricorn 15% of the time, grid items by level. Alpha XP Candy M 100% of the time, Seed of Mastery 20% of the time, and grid items by level. I still don't know how the math works. Stats, base stats, will compare non-Hisuian Zoroark with Hisuian Zoroark. So, HP 60, this one has 55, attack 105, this one has 100. Defense 60, that's the same. Special attack 120. This one has 125, special defense 60, that's the same. Speed 105, speed 110. So, and they both have a total of 510. Type effectiveness will compare non-Hisuian Zoroark and Hisuian Zoroark. So non-Hisuian Zoroark is damaged normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, and dragon. While Hisuian Zoroark is damaged normally by flying, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, and fairy. The ones that are kept between them are flying, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, and dragon. Non-Hisuian Zoroark is weak to fighting, bug, and fairy, all for double, while Hisuian Zorua is weak to dark for double. Non-Hisuian Zoroark is immune to psychic, while Hisuian Zoroark is immune to normal, fighting, and ghost. Non-Hisuian Zoroark is resistant to ghost and dark for half, while Hisuian Zoroark is resistant to poison and bug for half. In the Zoroark box, notes if Miracle Eye is used by an opponent or this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of psychic type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. In the Hisuian Zoroark box, if Foresight or Odor Sleuth is used by an opponent, the opponent has Scrappy or this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of normal type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1, and the effectiveness of fighting type moves is 2, so go from 0 to 2. If this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of Ghost-type moves is 2, so go from 0 to 2. Learn set by leveling up for non-Hisuian Zoroark here. We'll do this Evo here, and then go down to 30, so upon evolution, he gets Night Slash, 34 Agility, 40 Imprison, 46 Night Daze, 52 Nasty Plot, and 58 Foul Play. For Hisuian Zoroark, same thing. So upon evolution, it gets Shadow Claw, 34 Agility, 40 Shadow Ball, 46 Bitter Malice, 52 Nasty Plot, and 58 Foul Play. By TM, we're skipping. By breeding, we're skipping. Nothing by prior evolution. By event, this is rare. For Hisuian Zoroark, in this event, it can get Happy Hour. It's a normal status move. Its PP is 30. DCG only moves. Shadow Rush on this card. Side game data for non-Hisuian Zoroark. Got all this. Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond in the Pokepark Bad entry. She is originally from the tech area. She had something on her mind and was traveling in Pokepark to find a place to live. Got all this. For Hisuian Zoroark, you got this. Evolution data, non-Hisuian Zoroark. Non-Hisuian Zorua, level 30. Non-Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark. Hisuian Zorua, level 30. Hisuian Zoroark. Sprites, very similar colors, look like maybe a little bit more simplified in the face. Shiny has purple for the red parts. Interesting. And kind of brown for the black parts, kind of like Zorua's was. And gold for the blue part. Gen 6, it gets the models and the much lighter colors. Actually, very similar colors. Gen 7, kind of like Zorua, it seems to be a completely different model. Particularly in the face. That's very interesting. In Gen 8, in Sword and Shield, you get the much better models. In Legends Arceus, you get these models. The red parts of its body are replaced with purple, like non-Hisuian Shiny Zoroark. And the darker colors overall. Homes, you get these models. Animation, Zoroark in Pokemon Horizons the series. There's a Floragato in the background. Zoroark, the 13th movie, is the big one. Gladians. Zoroark is another big one, I guess. All this. Pokedex entries in Horizons, episode 57, in Lico's Rotom phone. Zoroark, the Illusion Pox Pokemon. A dark type. It can change its form using illusions, tricking many people at once. It also uses illusions to protect its lair. Pokemon, Hisuian Snow. Hisuian Zoroark in Pokemon. Hisuian Snow. Shiny Hisuian Zoroark in Pokemon Hisuian Snow. In the manga, Zoroark in Pokemon Rebirth. Got all this. The TCG. Other appearances, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS/Wii U. Zoroark appears as a Pokeball summon in the 3DS version of the game. It is unlocked after clearing 10 Man Smash. Upon release, it uses Fury Swipes to send fighters into the air, slash them repeatedly, and smash them back down. This move is very similar to Greninja's Final Smash. Zoroark and Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Zoroark also appears as a trophy in both versions of the game. Zoroark Trophy and Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Trophy information in the North American version. This Dark-type Pokemon will protect its home and anyone it cherishes by creating illusions to fluster opponents. When it uses Fury Swipes, it will vanish from view and then suddenly appear next to its targets, launching them upward. It will then finish them off by sending them crashing back down. In the PAL version, the Dark-type Pokemon is a powerful illusionist and uses its power to confuse any that would threaten its home and loved ones. When it uses its Furious Swipe attacks, it vanishes, then reappears next to its opponent and sends them flying into the air. It then slashes at them furiously before slamming them into the ground. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Zoroark appears again as a Pokeball summon, retaining its behavior from the previous game. It also appears as a spirit. Pokemon Unite. Zoroark is playable through obtaining a Unite license. It is a melee speedster that starts as a Zorua, which evolves to Zoroark at level 5. Zoroark in Pokemon Unite. Trivia. I read this first point in the Zorua Bulbapedia section of the video. I read the second point and the first sub-point in the Zorua Bulbapedia section of the video, but not the second sub-point, so Hisuian Zorua and Zoroark are the only Pokemon for whom one of each of their types cancels out a weakness of the other type. Ghost's immunity to fighting cancels out Normal's weakness to fighting, and Normal's immunity to Ghost cancels out Ghost's weakness to Ghost. Zoroark was first revealed by Junichi Masuda as a silhouette in the February 7th, 2010 edition of Pokemon Sunday. Its full image was later revealed on the March 2010 issue of Korokoro alongside its re-evolved form, Zorua. Zoroark's silhouette on Pokemon Sunday. Due to its debut before Gen 5 in Zoroark Master of Illusions, it can be seen as a parallel to Lucario, which debuted in Lucario and the Mystery of Mew prior to the release of Gen 4. Unlike Lucario, however, Zoroark was revealed at the same time as its re-evolved form. They both share the same names in Japanese and English versions of the game, have the same gender ratio, are in the Field Egg group, and need 1,059,860 EXP to reach level 100. Though evolving from Zorua at level 30, pre-release information from Korokoro suggested it would evolve from Zorua by a method different from known methods of evolution. What this method might have been, if it was true, is unknown. I read this sixth point in the Zorua section. Zoroark appears in Pokemon Battle Chess BW version. Along with Embor, Zoroark doesn't behave similarly to any traditional piece in chess. Zoroark in Pokemon Battle Chess. Prior to version 1.2.0 of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Hisuian Zoroark's base stats were the same as Unnovan Zoroark's. This change was undone when Hisuian Zoroark became available in those games. Similar occurrences happened to Hisuian Zorua and Kleavor. Furthermore, prior to the version 2.0.1 update, Unnovan Zoroark was unable to learn Encore via TM while its pre-evolution could. Origin Zoroark is based on a fox, possibly on the Kitsune of Japanese folklore, a shape-shifting mythical fox that would trick unsuspecting travelers for fun. Its facial markings may draw from kabuki and no theater makeup. It also resembles a werewolf due to the fact that it is an anthropomorphic canid with a propensity for shapeshifting. According to Ken Sugimori, Zoroark's large mane being tied into a ponytail is supposed to be a stand-in for its lack of a tail. Hisuian Zoroark may draw inspiration from a revenant or a vengeful ghost, notably an Onryu, typically depicted with disheveled hair, wearing bright white garments and having blood or wounds on them. It may also be inspired by Senrap Kamui, the Ainu deity of foxes, with Sirenup roughly translating to those whom we kill many. Its coloration may be based on kitsune masks. The red portions on its arms and legs resemble frostbite sores. Name origin. Zoroark may be a combination of Zoro, Spanish for fox, and dark, Aku, evil, or Ark, prefix for top or chief. In the languages, related articles, references, external links to the Suian forums, and the Super Smash Bros. Series. Let's move on. Now let's watch Zoroark's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the Zoroark anime section of the video. We are watching, quite fittingly, Zoroark, Master of Illusions. In this film, all you really need to know is that there's this plane flying at night. There's Zoroark. This is where we started the Zorua anime section, so we'll have to stop there. Let's move on. Before we get into the Minccino Bulbapedia section, I forgot to mention how I know Minccino from the Poketoon, the Slugma-powered house. Anyway, let's look at Minccino's Bulbapedia section. Hello and welcome to the Minccino Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the Chinchilla Pokemon. Its number is 0572. This is what it looks like. Its type is normal. Abilities, Cute Charm or Technician. Skill link is its ratio Gender ratio is 25% male and 75% female. Catch rate is 255 or 43.9%. Breeding is a group field. Hatch time 15 cycles. Height is 1 foot 4 or 0.4 meters. Weight is 12.8 pounds or 5.8 kilograms. Base experience yield is 60. Leveling rate is fast. EV yield is 1. And speed, shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is gray and base friendship is 70. Minccino is a normal type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Cinccino when exposed to a shiny stone. Biology, Minccino is a furry, gray chinchilla-like Pokemon with scruffs of fur on its head and neck. It has large ears on the sides of its head, with red insides partly covered by tufts of fur. It has large brown eyes and a small dot-like nose. Its limbs are somewhat rounded and small, and its ears and tail have white tips. The tail is also long and particularly furry. This tail acts like a broom or mop, as Minccino uses it to clean its den. The way it uses the tail to clean can be helpful when cleaning, but as Pokemon's focus on a clean environment can make cleaning more of a hassle. Minccino also uses the tail to brush others of its species as a form of greeting. In a pair greeting, the one with the fluffier tail will be more prideful. It has a fondness for shiny objects, and it is obsessed with cleaning dirty items. Minccino always keeps its tail clean. When it gets dirty, Minccino will wash it in clean spring water. It prefers clean habitats. Minccino cleaning with its tail. Prior to Gen 8, Tail Slap was its signature move, but other Pokemon could still inherit it via breeding. Evolution, Minccino evolves into Cinccino, so Minccino, Cinccino. Game data, Pokedex entries in Gen 5. In Black, they greet one another by rubbing each other with their tails, which are always kept well-groomed and clean. White, these Pokemon prefer a tidy habitat. They are always sweeping and dusting, using their tails as brooms. In Black 2 and White 2, Minccino greet each other by grooming one another thoroughly with their tails. In Gen 6, X is Black 2 and White 2's entry, Y is White's entry, Omega Ruby is Black 2, White 2, and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is White and Y's entry. In Gen 7, Ultra Sun, a clean freak that will not allow even the slightest mess. It uses its tail like a mop to thoroughly clean any and all filth. Ultra Moon, when its tail has gotten dirty from self-cleaning or from cleaning its nest, Minccino spends a whole day washing its tail in clean spring water. In Gen 8, Sword, the way it brushes away grime with its tail can be helpful when cleaning, but its focus on spotlessness can make cleaning more of a hassle. Shield, they pet each other with their tails as a form of greeting. Of the two, the one whose tail is fluffier is a bit more boastful. In Gen 9, Scarlet is Ultra Moon's entry. Violet, these Pokemon like things neat and tidy. They are always sweeping and dusting their habitat, using their tails as brooms. The spin-off game's entry is the same entry. Minccino in the Alola Pokedex, Minccino in the Blueberry Pokedex, you can see 3 of them here. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items. In Black, White, Black 2, and White 2, it has the Chesto Berry, 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 55, attack 50, defense, special attack, and special defense 40, speed 75 for a total of 300. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak 2 fighting for double, immune to ghost, resistant to nothing. Notes if this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of ghost-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up. 1, Pound and Baby Doll Eyes, 4, Helping Hand, 8, Echoed Voice, 12, Sing, 16, Charm, 20, Swift, 24, Encore, 28, After You, 32, Tail Slap, 36, Tickle, 40, Slam, 44, Hyper Voice, and 48, last resort. By TM, TM is 001 Takedown, 2 Charm, 3 Fake Tears, 5 Mudslap, 7 Protect, 18 Thief, 20 Trailblaze, 22 Chilling Water, 25 Facade, 32 Swift, 43 Fling, 47 Endure, 49 Sedaday, 50 Rain Dance, 55 Dig, 56 Bullet Seed, 60 U-Turn, 70 Sleep Talk, 71 Seed Bomb, 79 Dazzling Gleam, 81 Grass Knot, 82 Thunder Wave, 85 Rest, 102 Gunk Shot, 103 Substitute, 117 Hyper Voice, 122 Encore, 126 Thunderbolt, 127 Play Rough, 129 Calm Mind, 130 Helping Hand, 132 Baton Pass, 171 Terra Blast, 181 Knockoff, 183 Super Fang, 191 Uproar, 205 Endeavor, 212 Triple Axle, and 227 Alluring Voice. By reading, this group gives it Aqua Tail, this group gives it Flail, this group gives it Knockoff, this group gives it Tail Whip, and the Mere Herb gives it Tidy Up. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond, the Pokepark pet entry. She loves to clean up the area. She doesn't throw everything away, though. She kept the thing Trubbish dropped until she could give it back. Got all this. Costumes in Pokemon Go. Fashionable costume. Got a couple bows and some glasses. Interesting. Evolution data, Minccino, Shiny Stone, Cinccino. Sprites here. So, darker colors, of course. Actually looks way better, I think, in the darker colors. And then, got pink for the shiny main body, and green for the insides of the ears. In Gen 6, got the much lighter colors, of course. In Gen 7, not really much change. The head might be a little bit smaller? That's interesting. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. In Homes, you get these models. Animation, Minccino, and Pokemon Horizons the series. Bianca's Minccino's the big one. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, Episode 13, in Bianca's Pokedex. Minccino, the chinchilla Pokemon. Minccino loves shiny things and will use its tail as a brush to clean any objects that are dirty. Okay, Minccino and Poketoon. And the manga. Minccino and Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. The TCG. Trivia, the Poketoy item is based on Minccino's tail. It is possible for the Minccino that appears in the World of Pokemon Intro and Pokemon Black and White to be shiny. Minccino and its evolved form were designed by Etsuko Nishida, and almost no changes were made to her original designs. They were intended to be parallels of Kanto's Clefairy and Clefable, Pokemon that everyone would think was cute. Nishida was hired specifically for her reputation in Game Freak for her skill in designing cute characters. Minccino is the only Pokemon to be part of the World of Pokemon Intro that evolves in its game sequel evolving into Cinccino between the events of Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black 2 and White 2. Origin, Minccino seems to be based on a chinchilla. Its tail may be based on feather dusters or brooms, as they use their tails to clean their dens. Name origin, Minccino may be a combination of mini, referring to its miniature size, mink, an animal known for its fur, and its use in women's clothing, or mint, pristine condition, and chinchilla or chino cloth. The suffix ino or chino is also a diminutive to denote something small. Chilarmy may be a combination of chinchilla and charming. And languages, related articles, references, external links. Let's move on. Now let's watch Minccino's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the Cinccino anime section of the video. We are watching episode 658, In the Shadow of Zekrom. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his faithful Pokemon Pikachu, as well as his mother, Delia Ketchum, and Professor Oak, have come to the Unova region for vacation, where they have met the local Pokemon professor, Professor Juniper, who is driving them around town. And there's the Minccino. And that is Minccino's first in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's look at Minccino fan art. Hello and welcome to the fan art section of the video. Nobody sent fan art, so start by looking at DeviantArt fan art. Those of you aren't familiar with the series, what we do is we go through these images until I find an image that doesn't contain a Minccino. This is Milky Way, Chapter 2, page 82 by Forg Zeroton Memory. So I've got this pile of clothes, and an arm sweeps them away, and reveals a box. A box thinks this anthropomorphic Minccino reveals a skull chop. What is this, a shell? It's not like any shell I've ever seen. It looks so strange. It's definitely important. They probably won't notice. And puts the box back and shuts the door. This is Minccino Cappuccino by Jamie Uwo. So we've got this nice, simple image of Minccino here. This is Milky Way Chapter 2, page 81 by Forg010 Memory. So a page before the last one. I've got Chino looking through the books here, and then says ugh, looks at desk, goes to the drawers, thinks, oh, Mom's diary. Hollows mind. Would it be wrong to read this? Then sees the closet in the corner of their eye, and then opens it. This is Minccino with an apple by Stardust Kitty. Got this cute image of Minccino with a yellow apple here. Very well done. And this wants me to pay to view it. I'm not going to do that, so we'll move on. Before we get into the Cinccino Bulbapedia section, something I couldn't have brought up in its video, but can now, is that I know Cinccino from the extended trailer for Pokopia. Anyway, let's look at Cinccino's Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Cinccino Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the Scarf Pokemon. Its number is 0573. This is what it looks like. Its type is normal. Abilities Cute Charm or Technician. Skill Link is its inability. Gender ratio is 25% male and 75% female. Catch rate is 60 or 14.8%. Breeding is a group field. Hatch time 15 cycles. Height is 1 foot 8 or 0.5 meters. Weight is 16.5 pounds or 7.5 kilograms. Base experience yield is 165. Loving raised medium fast. Yield is 2 and speed. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokédex color is gray. And base friendship is 70. Cinccino is a normal type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Minccino when exposed to a shiny stone. Biology, Cinccino is a furry gray chinchilla-like Pokemon. It has large ears located to the sides of its head with red insides partly covered by tufts of fur. Its eyes are large and brown with a small rounded nose. Its limbs are somewhat rounded and small, and its tail is long, fluffy, and incredibly white in color. Cinccino also has 2 large fluffs on its head that wrap around its back. Cinccino uses its long fur as a scarf. Cinccino's fur is coated in a special oil that repels enemy attacks. Cinccino also uses this oil to coat its nest, protecting it from dust. The oil can be used as a skin treatment and is sold for a high price. Cinccino's fur feels amazing to touch, and it repels dust and prevents static electricity buildup. Cinccino cleaning itself. Prior to Gen 8, Tail Slap was its signature move, but other Pokemon could still inherit it via breeding. Evolution, Cinccino evolves from Minccino, so Minccino, Cinccino. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Infinity. Cinccino runs the gift shop. She's friends with Rampardos from the Blockbuster shop, but is oblivious to his affections to her. Pokédex entries in Gen 5, Black. Their white fur is coated in a special oil that makes it easy for them to deflect attacks. White. Their white fur feels amazing to touch. Their fur repels dust and prevents static electricity from building up. Black 2 and White 2. Cinccino's body is coated in a special oil that helps it deflect attacks, such as punches. In Gen 6, X is White Sentry, Y is Black 2 and White 2 Sentry, Omega Ruby is White and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 7 Ultra Sun, the white parts of its coat are covered in oil secreted from its body, so this Pokemon can slide right away from its enemies' attacks. Ultra Moon, the oil that seeps from its body is really smooth. For people troubled by bad skin, this oil is an effective treatment. In Gen 8 Sword, its body secretes oil that this Pokemon spreads over its nest as a coating to protect it from dust. Cinccino won't tolerate even a speck of the stuff. Shield. A special oil that seeps through their fur helps them avoid attacks. The oil fetches a high price at market. In Gen 9, Scarlet's Black's entry. Violet's Ultra Moon's entry. The spin-off game's entry is Sword's entry. Cinccino in the Alola Pokedex in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Cinccino in the Blueberry Pokedex, you can see the full evolutionary line image. Got 2 Cinccino and 1 Minccino. It is interesting since there were 3 Minccino in the first image, so I wonder if these 2 are evolutions of 2 of those Minccino. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items in black, white, black 2, and white 2 as the Chesto Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats to HP 75, attack 95, defense 60, special attack 65, special defense 60, speed 115 for a total of 470. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to fighting for double, immune to ghost, resistant to nothing. Notes, if this Pokemon is given a ring target, the effectiveness of ghost type moves is 1, so it'll go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up, even though you can hypothetically have a level 1 Minccino. I will start with this move reminder here and then go down to 2, because this is a section for moves by leveling up. Okay, never mind, we're just going to do the move reminders in the Evo. So, by move reminder, it gets Slam, Swift, Encore, Helping Hand, Hyper Voice, Tickle, Rock Blast, Last Resort, after you, Echoed Voice, and Baby Doll Eyes. Upon evolution, it gets Tail Slap. By TM, we're skipping. By breeding, we're skipping. Nothing by prior evolution. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 wanders beyond in the Pokepark pen entry. She elegantly spends her time by walking around Coketown and going to see the ocean. Got all this. Costumes in Pokemon Go, fashionable costumes, so the ribbons and glasses, like in the Minccino article. Evolution data, Minccino, Shiny Stone, Cinccino. Sprites here, so again, darker colors, much more kind of brown, gray. So the colors are, I think, supposed to be the reverse of Shiny Minccino, where the ear color was kind of this brownish yellow color, and then the pink, it kind of had like a pink tint to it. It's not exactly 1-to-1, but I think that's the reference. In Gen 6, you get the models and the lighter colors, of course. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. It's a lot, like, whiter, I think? And, like, cute and smaller, kind of, you know. In Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation, Cinccino in Pokemon Horizons the series. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 91, in Ash's Pokedex. Cinccino, the Scarf Pokemon, and the evolved form of Minccino. Cinccino defends against its opponent's attacks, using its specially coated white fur. In Black and White, episode 98, in the same Pokedex. Cinccino, the Scarf Pokemon. Cinccino brushes off attacks with ease because of the unique oil that coats its white fur. In the manga, Cinccino and Pokemon Adventures. Pokedex entries in Pokemon Adventures, chapter 476. Their white fur is coated in a special oil that makes it easy for them to deflect attacks. In the TCG trivia, due to an error, Cinccino is unable to learn Thief via TM in Pokemon Black and White, while it's a pre-evolved form Minccino does. This issue was later fixed in Black 2 and White 2. I read the second point in the Minccino video. Cinccino is the only fully evolved Pokemon to appear as a Pokemon example when the player starts a new game. Origin, Cinccino seems to be based on a chinchilla. Its white hair is very similar in appearance to high-class women's hairstyles in the early 1600s. The white fur draped around its neck resembles shawls, scarves, and boas, possibly a reference to how chinchillas are controversially hunted for their fur. Name origin, Cinccino and Chillachino may be a combination of chinchilla and chino cloth. The suffix ino or chino is also a diminutive to denote something small. In other languages, references, external links, let's move on. Now let's watch Cinccino's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the Cinccino anime section of the video. Today, we're watching the 14th movie. This scene exists in both versions of the film. Started the scene in the Lilligant video, but we didn't finish it. It's the next scene after this. In this film, the main characters have come to Eindhoek Town, where some of the townsfolk are telling them the story of the Kingdom of the Vale. They've explained that the people of the Vale harnessed something called the Dragon Force to live in harmony with Pokemon.
One with nature.
There's Cinccino. And that is Cinccino's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's look at Gothita's Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Gothita Bulbapedia section. It's the Fixation Pokemon. Its number is 0574. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic. Abilities, Frisk or Competitive in Gen 6+. Shadow Tag is its inability. Gender ratios, 25% male and 75% female. Catch rate is 200 or 36.6%. Breedings, a group human-like. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 1 foot 4 or 0.4 meters. Weight is 12.8 pounds or 5.8 kilograms. Base experience yield is 58. Leveling rate is medium slow. EV yield is 1 and special defense. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is purple and base friendship is 70. Gothita is a Psychic-type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Gothorita starting at level 32, which evolves into Gothitelle starting at level 41. Biology, Gothita is a small humanoid Pokemon. A small tuft of hair sticks up from the top of its purple head, and it has 2 white bow-shaped feelers on each side of the head, and a third bow-shaped feeler on its neck. These ribbon-like feelers are used to amplify Gothita's psychic power and will cause Gothita to cry if touched. It has 2 large blue eyes with 3 eyelashes on each and small red lips. Its torso is black with a white zigzagging line running horizontally through the middle. Its arms and legs are short and stubby with no visible digits. Gothita intently observes those around it, looking at something only it can see. It can become so focused that it ends up being unaware of attacks. Gothita are normally known to be innocent. It is usually quiet, but sometimes it makes muted cries, even when alone. This is believed to be Gothita communicating with invisible beings. Evolution. Gothita evolves into Gothorita, which evolves into Gothitelle, so Gothita, Gothorita, Gothitelle. Game data and PC appearances. Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. Gothita lives in Wish Park and is one of Darkrai's minions. Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black. They have ribbon-like feelers increase their psychic power. They are always staring at something. White. They intently observe both trainers and Pokemon. Apparently, they are looking at something that only Gothita can see. Black 2 and White 2. It stares intently at everything. It can become so obsessed with watching that it doesn't notice attacks. In Gen 6, X is Black Sentry, Y is White Sentry, Omega Ruby is Black, and X's entry in Alpha Sapphire is White and Y's entry. In Gen 8 Sword, though they're still only babies, their psychic power stored in their ribbon-like feelers, and sometimes they use that power to fight. Shield. Even when nobody seems to be around, Gothita can still be heard making a muted cry. Many believe it's speaking to something only it can see. In Gen 9 Scarlet, this Pokemon is normally very innocent. When it is staring at something invisible, it is unblinking and utterly silent. Violet. Beware of touching the ribbon-shaped feelers that control its psychic power. Gothita will begin bawling if you do. Gothita in the Paldea Pokedex in this field here. Gothita in the Blueberry Pokedex. Among a bunch of other Pokemon. These really base Pokemon, it looks like. So you got a Lowland Diglett. Got a few Gothita. Hafini. Magby, Nomo, Snubble, and Meteor Form Minior. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items in Black 2 and White 2. It has the Persim Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 45, attack 30, defense 50, special attack 55, special defense 65, speed 45, for a total of 290. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark, all for double, immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic for half. Learn set by leveling up. 1. Pounding Confusion. 4. Play Nice. 8. Tickle. 12. Psybeam. 16. Charm. 20. Psyshock. 24. Hypnosis. 28. Fake Tears. 33. Psych Up. 36. Psychic. 40. Flatter. 44. Future Sight. And 48. Magic Room. By TM. TM002 Charm. 3 Fake Tears. 7 Protect. 16 Psybeam. 18 Thief. 25 Facade. 32 Swift. 36 Rock Tomb. 41 Stored Power. 43 Fling. 47 Endure. 50 Rain Dance. 54 Psyshock. 59 Zen Headbutt. 62 Foul Play. 70 Sleep Talk. 74 Reflect. 75 Light Screen. 81 Grass Knot. 82 Thunder Wave. 85 Rest. 86 Rock Slide. 87 Taunt. 92 Imprison. 94 Dark Pulse. 98 Skill Swap. 103 Substitute. 109 Trick. 114 Shadow Ball. 119 Energy Ball. 120 Psychic. 126 Thunderbolt. 129 Calm Mind. 130 Helping Hand. 138 Psychic Terrain. 140 Nasty Plot. 161 Trick Room. 171 Terra Blast. 178 Gravity. 203 Psych Up. 217 Future Sight. 218 Expanding Force. And 228 Psychic Noise. By breeding, this group gives it Fake Out. This group gives it Heal Pulse. Sableye gives it Mean Look. The Mirror Herb gives it Mere Coat. And this group gives it Torment. Nothing by prior evolution. Side game data. You got all this. Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond, the Pokepark pad entry. She came to Wish Park with Gothitelle and Gothorita. She doesn't remember much before that. She wants to be like Gothitelle. Got all this. In Pokemon Go, Gothita can be obtained by completing 1/5 of the Special Research Throwback Challenge Champion 2020. Can also be obtained by completing 1/5 of the ticketed Special Research Throwback Challenge Celebration 2020. Evolution data, Gothita, level 32, Gothorita, level 41, Gothitelle. Sprites. So a different kind of purple, a lot more kind of pinkish purple. Interesting. And this seems to be different shaped, the little bulb. Straight up. Probably a little bit more simplified overall. The shiny is just more like pink, even more pink. Body, main face color, I guess. Then purple eyes. Then Gen 6, you get the models. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Of course, the lighter colors, which actually I think help in this case, especially to distinguish the shiny and the regular. So its eyes look to be much smaller. That's interesting. Gen 7, not really much changes. Gen 8, you have the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation, Gothita and Pokemon the Series XY. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 35 in Ash's Pokedex. Gothita, the fixation Pokemon. Gothita watches Pokemon and trainers with an intense stare. Its bow-like feelers amplify its psychic powers. Black and White, episode 55 in the same Pokedex. Gothita, the fixation Pokemon. Gothita's ribbon-like feelers help it use its psychic powers. Their wide eyes make it always appear to be staring. In XY, episode 101 in Serena's Pokedex. For this entry, because I know Serena's Pokedex is voiced now, I'll read it in that voice. Gothita, the fixation Pokemon. Gothita's psychic powers are made stronger by its ribbon-like feelers. When Gothita becomes fixated on something, it's looking at something only it can see. In the manga, Gothita and Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. In the TCG. Trivia, Gothita can be seen as a parallel to Solosis. Both are Gen 5 Psychic-type Pokemon, evolving once at level 32, and then again at level 41. Gothita is exclusive to Pokemon Black, Black 2, and Sword, while Solosis is exclusive to Pokemon White, White 2, and Shield. They both have the same base experience and catch rates, gain new moves at similar levels, and have base stat totals of 290. Origin, Gothita seems to be based on a child dressed in gothic Lolita fashion, as well as the common trope to associate goth girls with magical powers or witchcraft. The gothic Lolita fashion itself is highly influenced by the fashion from the Victorian period of the United Kingdom, and also by styles from the Rococo period. The Rococo being an artistic movement born in the 18th century in France that later spread to other parts of Europe and the colonial Americas. Due to Gothitelle's ability to predict the future from stars, Gothita and its evolutions may be based on diviners, or more specifically, astrologers. Due to their feminine appearance and association with the stars, Gothita and its evolutions may be inspired by the Virgo sign and constellation. This is further supported by Gothorita being the Virgo equivalent in Unova's horoscope. Gothita was featured in an official Pokemon illustration for the Year of the Ox in 2021. This is likely a pun involving its Japanese category name, Gayoushi Pokemon, staring Pokemon, and Ushi, a common reading of cow. Name origin, Gothita may be derived from Gothic, and the Spanish feminine diminutive suffix ita may also be a contraction of Gothic. Lolita. Gothumu may be a combination of Gothic and Muchi chubby. It may also involve Yochumu, precognitive dream. In other languages, references, external links, let's move on. Now let's watch Gothita's first scene in the anime. Hello and welcome to the anime portion of the video. Today we are watching episode 692, Where Did You Go, I Don't Know. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, traveling companion Silent and Iris, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris' Aksu, were walking in this forest when it was all foggy, and they just watched an Audino pass by them. And then the fog cleared, and now Officer Jenny is telling them that they're under arrest.
Stop! You stay right there!
Get it out while you got the chance!
What are you talking about? Freeze! Don't move! Solosis, quick! Use Psychic! Arrest made at 0900 hours.
It's always
And that is Gothita's first scene in the anime. Let's move on. Now let's look at Gothorita's Bulbapedia article. Hello and welcome to the Gothorita Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the Manipulate Pokemon. Its number is 0575. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic, abilities, Frisk, or Competitive. In Gen 6+, Shadow Tag is its hidden ability. Gender ratio is 25% male and 75% female. Catch rate is 100 or 21.7%. Breeding is a group human-like. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 2 foot 4.7 meters. Weight is 39.7 pounds or 18 kilograms. Base experience yield is 137. Level and race medium slow. AV yield is 2. In special defense. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is purple. And base friendship is 70. Gothorita is a psychic type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Gothita, starting at level 32, and evolves into Gothitelle, starting at level 41. Biology, Gothorita is a black humanoid Pokemon with slim arms and legs. There are 2 round black buns on each side of its head, with a smaller drop-shaped piece hanging from each. Adorning its hair are 2 pairs of white bows on each bun. It has a pale purple face with cyan eyes and red lips. It has 2 white bows on its body, which flares at the bottom to form a skirt shape. Gothorita uses starlight as the source of its power, and is able to use its psychic powers to arrange rocks into the shapes of constellations. It can also use these powers to control people and Pokemon with hypnosis, leading people astray and putting children to sleep before kidnapping them. Because of this, Gothorita is known as the Witch of Punishment. Some people believe Gothorita is from outer space, although this connection is yet to be confirmed. Evolution, Gothorita evolves from Gothita and evolves into Gothitelle, so Gothita, Gothorita, Gothitelle. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. Gothorita lives in Wish Park and is one of Darkrai's minions. Pokedex entries, in Gen 5 Black, they use hypnosis to control people in Pokemon. Tales of Gothorita leading people astray are told in every corner. White, starlight is the source of their power. At night, they mark star positions by using psychic power to float stones. Black 2 and White 2, according to many old tales, it creates friends for itself by controlling sleeping children on starry nights. In Gen 6, X is White's entry, Y is Black 2 and White 2's entry, Omega Ruby is White and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 8, Sword, it's said that when stars shine in the night sky, this Pokemon will spirit away sleeping children. Some call it the Witch of Punishment. Shield, on nights when the stars shine, this Pokemon's psychic power is at its strongest. It's unknown just what link Gothorita has to the greater universe. In Gen 9, Scarlet, this Pokemon will hypnotize children to put them to sleep before carrying them away. Be wary of nights when the starlight is bright. Violet, using its psychic power, it arranges pebbles to form the shapes of constellations. Some people believe this Pokemon came from outer space. Gothorita and the Paldea Pokedex. So you've got it at night. That's fun. That makes sense. All the stars in the sky. And you've got Gothorita and the Blueberry Pokedex. Got a couple of them. Probably in the same cave as Gothita. We also have Alolan Diglett and Galarian Slowpoke, which we saw in a much earlier video. That's fun. And we also have Happiny, which probably is the same one as the one we saw in the Gothita video. This one seems to be causing them all to go to sleep. That's interesting. Game locations, side game locations, and events. Held items in Black 2 and White 2, it has the Person Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 60, attack 45, defense 70, special attack 75, special defense 85, speed 55, for a total of 390. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark, all for double, immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic for half. When set by leveling up, we'll go down to 35 here, so 35 Psych Up, 46 Flatter, 52 Future Sight, and 58 Magic Room. By TM we're skipping, by breeding we're skipping, nothing by prior evolution, side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond, the Pokepark bad entry. He lived in the tech area, but he used to live somewhere else. He's become strong to protect Gothitelle and Gothita. And all this. Evolution data, Gothita, level 32, Gothorita, level 41, Gothitelle. Sprite's ears, it's a lot more simplified, like, not as nearly as long, that's interesting. And all the eyes are a lot bigger, probably, and of course the darker purple as well. Similarly to Gothita, Shiny has purple eyes and probably more of a pink face, kind of hard to tell with these proportions. It also seems to be bluer black? I wonder... In Gen 6, you get sort of the modern proportions here, a lot more obvious. The colors. In Gen 7, not really much changes. Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. In animation, Gothorita in Pokemon the series, black and white. Got all this. Pokedex entries in black and white, episode 59 in Ash's Pokedex. Gothorita, the manipulate Pokemon, the evolved form of Gothita. Gothorita uses starlight as its power source. It arranges rocks in the same way as the stars, and can use its psychic powers to control people in Pokemon. One Peltade wins in the manga. Gothorita in Pokemon Adventures, I got a couple of them. Interesting. Got all this. In the TCG, trivia, I read this first point in the Grumpig video. Gothorita represents September in the Unova horoscope. Gothorita can be seen as a counterpart to Duosion. Both are Gen 5 Psychic-type Pokemon that are the second stage of a 3-stage evolutionary line, with first evolution at level 32 and second at level 41. Gothorita is exclusive to Pokemon Black, Black 2, and Sword, while Duosion is exclusive to Pokemon White, White 2, and Shield. They both have the catch rate, and they gain new moves at similar levels. However, Gothorita's base stat total is 20 points higher than Duosion's, though the other stages in its line have base stat totals that equal their counterparts. Origin, Gothorita appears to be based on a young girl dressed in Gothic Lolita fashion, as well as the common trope to associate goth girls with magical powers or witchcraft. The Gothic Lolita fashion itself is highly influenced by the fashion from the Victorian period of the United Kingdom, and also by styles from the Rococo period, the Rococo being an artistic movement born in the 18th century in France that later spread to other parts of Europe and the colonial Americas. Due to Gothitelle's ability to predict the future from stars, Gothorita's line may be based on diviners, or more specifically, astrologers. Due to their feminine appearance and association with the stars, Gothorita's line may be inspired by the Virgo sign and constellation. This is further supported by Gothorita being the Virgo equivalent in Unova's horoscope. Name origin, Gothorita may be a combination of Goth and Señorita, Spanish for the title of Miss, or a corruption of Gothic Lolita. Gothe Maru may be a combination of Gothic and Maru to see. The languages, external links, let's move on. Now let's watch Gothorita's first scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Gothorita anime section. We are watching the 14th movie. This scene exists in both versions of the film. In this film, all you really need to know is that we're in Eindhoven Town. There's Gothorita.
Wow, that's
I would say that is Gothorita's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's look at Gothitelle's Bulbapedia article.
Hello and welcome to the Gothitelle Bulbapedia section of the video. It is the astral body Pokemon. Its number is 0576. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic. Abilities, Frisk or Competitive in Gen 6+. Shadow Tag is its inability. Gender ratio is 25% male and 75% female. Catch rate is 50 or 12.9%. Rating is human-like. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 4'11" or 1.5 meters. Weight is 97 pounds or 44 kilograms. Base experience yield is 221. Leveling rate is medium slow. EV yield is 3 in special defense. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokédex color is purple and base friendship is 70. Gothitelle is a psychic type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Gothorita starting at level 41. It is the final form of Gothita. Biology, Gothitelle is a humanoid Pokemon with a primarily black body. Its head is teardrop-shaped with a white bow-like fixture attached to the base of its tip. The black skin on Gothitelle's head opens onto its purple face with a zigzag pattern resembling bangs. Gothitelle has large, heavy, lidded eyes with blue irises and white pupils, as well as a small mouth with red lips. 4 flat, black discs flank each side of its head. Gothitelle's body is split into 4 progressively larger tiers, with its head and arms being attached to the smallest, uppermost tier with a pair of stubby pink feet being under them. Its arms are thin, ending in small, purple hands, with white discs at the wrists. Each tier of Gothitelle's body has a white, bow-like fixture on its front. Gothitelle's legs, seen from below, Gothitelle's immense psychic power can distort the space around it, showing visions of distant stars and past events, but it dislikes conflict. It can predict the future from the placement and movement of stars, and weeps when it discovers the lifespan of its trainer. It has a detached nature due to seeing how all life will eventually end. A criminal that a Gothitelle had shown his fate to went missing that same day and was never seen again. The visions Gothitelle shares are said to be apparently ethereal and beautiful. Evolution, Gothitelle evolves from Gothorita and is the final form of Gothita, so Gothita, Gothorita, Gothitelle. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. Gothitelle lives in Wish Park and is one of Darkrai's minions. She's also initially in charge of Wish Park's Power Zone and the Power Bash attraction, but leaves Haxorus in charge of them during the post-game. Pokedex entries in Gen 5 Black. Starry skies, thousands of light years away, are visible in the space distorted by their intense psychic power. White, they can predict the future from the placement and movement of the stars. They can see trainers' lifespans. Black 2 and White 2, it can see the future from the movement of the stars. When it learns its trainer's lifespan, it cries in sadness. In Gen 6, X is Black's entry. Y is White's entry. Omega Ruby is Black and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is White and Y's entry. In Gen 8 Sword, it has tremendous psychic power, but it dislikes conflict. It's also able to predict the future based on the movement of the stars. Shield, a criminal who was shown his fate by a Gothitelle, went missing that same day and was never seen again. In Gen 9 Scarlet, Gothitelle unleashes psychic energy and shows opponents dreams of the universe's end. These dreams are apparently ethereal and beautiful. Violet, it gazes at the stars to predict the future. It acts somewhat detached because it has seen the end of all existence. Gothitelle in the Paldea Pokedex. So, of course, at night again, like Gothorita. It's fun. We're just looking up at the stars. Gothitelle in the Blueberry Pokedex. It's a full evolutionary line image with the Gothita, Gothorita, and Gothitelle, of course, staying away. Not wanting to get attached, I guess. And he's probably in the same cave as these two's image was. So those weird blocks. Interesting. Game locations. Side game locations. Gothitelle in Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. Got all this. Held items. In Black 2 and White 2, it has the Person Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 70, attack 55, defense and special attack 95, special defense 110, speed 65 for a total of 490. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. We do bug, ghost, and dark all for double, immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic for half. Learn set by leveling up will go down to 41. 48 Flatter, 56 Future Sight, and 64 Magic Room. By TM we're skipping. By breeding we're skipping. Nothing by prior evolution. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond, and the Pokepark Bad entry. She came to Wish Park from a foreign land. There is something noble about her. She looks far away, wistfully, but something good happened lately. Got all this. Evolution data, Gothita, level 32, Gothorita, level 41, Gothitelle. Sprites. So, basically the same. Not really much different, actually. Looks like the little top part is not as pointy, and also looks like it's maybe intended to be two parts instead of just one large point. That's interesting. Also, the dress doesn't seem nearly as wide. So I got blue for the main body, and then the skin's a little bit lighter pink, and the eyes are probably purple. Gen 6, you get the models, the wider dress, they're more point, the top there. These things seem bigger. Yeah. And Gen 7, not really much changes. And Gen 8, you get the much better models, kind of. These are very not integrated. That's interesting. Yeah, they're much better integrated than these models. That's an odd choice. Homes, you get these models. In animation, Gothitelle and Pokemon the series, Black and White. Got all this. Pokedex entries. I will record this one in the Gothitelle anime section, so I'll let Ash's Pokedex read it.
Gothitelle, the astral body Pokémon. Gothitelle's psychic power is so great that it is said to warp space around it and distort reality in the process.
Pokemon Twilight Wings, Gothitelle and Pokemon Twilight Wings. In the manga, Gothitelle and Pokemon Adventures. got all this, and the TCG. Trivia, Gothitelle can be seen as a counterpart to
Reuniclus!
both are Gen 5 Psychic-type Pokemon that are the final stage of a 3-stage evolutionary line, with first evolution at level 32, and second at level 41. Gothitelle is exclusive to Pokemon Black, Black 2, and Sword, while
Reuniclus!
is exclusive to Pokemon White, White 2, and Shield. Both have the same base experience and catch rates, gain new moves at similar levels, and have base stat totals of 490. Origin, Gothitelle appears to be based on a stylized depiction of a woman wearing Gothic-style clothing, as well as the common trope to associate goth girls with magical powers or witchcraft. Goth styles themselves are often borrowed from the punk fashion and can also draw influence from Victorian and Elizabethan fashion periods of the United Kingdom, and also bears some resemblance to the Flatwoods monster, a cryptid that gained popularity in Japan. Due to Gothitelle's ability to predict the future from stars, it may be based on diviners, or more specifically, astrologers. Gothitelle, learning its trainer's lifespan, likely references similar popular predictions given by fortune tellers. Due to their feminine appearance and association with the stars, Gothitelle and its pre-evolutions may also be inspired by the Virgo sign and constellation. This is further supported by Gothorita being the Virgo equivalent in Unova's horoscope. Name origin, Gothitelle may be a combination of Gothic and Mademoiselle, French for the title of Miss Fortelle or Stelle, Italian for stars. Gothroussel may be a combination of Gothic and Mademoiselle, French for the title of Miss. Now the languages, external links, let's move on.
Now let's watch Gothitelle's first scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Gothitelle anime section of the video. Today we are watching episode 678, quite fittingly, The Lost World of Gothitelle. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character's traveling companions Silent and Iris, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris's Zexu, are about to cross the Sky Arrow Bridge to Castelia City when they're attacked by a Psybeam, and Ash is wondering where it came from. Gothitelle. Gothitelle's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's look at the Bulbapedia article of Solosis.
Hello and welcome to the Solosis Bulbapedia section. It is the Cell Pokemon. Its number is 0577. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic. Abilities, Overcoat or Magic Guard. Regenerators, its inability. Gender ratios, 50-50. Catch rate is 200 or 36.6%. Ratings, a group amorphous. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 1 foot or 0.3 meters. Weight is 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram. Base experience yield is 58. Leveling rate is medium slow. EV is 1 and special attack. Shape is that. It has no feet, so it has no footprint. Pokedex color is green. And base friendship is 70. Solosis is a Psychic type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Duosion, starting at level 32, which evolves into
Reuniclus!
starting at level 41. Biology, Solosis is a round, green Pokemon surrounded by a darker green gel-like substance. This liquid covering allows Solosis to live under any conditions, even in the vacuum of space. But when taking heavy blows, its fluid covering may leak away. Its inner body has dark oval eyes and a red diamond-shaped mouth. On the upper left side of its head is a curly, yellow growth that resembles the endoplasmic reticulum of a cell. It uses psychic powers to communicate with telepathy, as well as to drive away potential threats. Evolution, Solosis evolves into Duosion, which evolves into
Reuniclus!
So, Solosis, Duosion.
Reuniclus!
Game data, NPC appearances. Spoiler warning, this article may contain major plot or ending details. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, Solosis appears as a friend of a group of Litwick to create fear for the Litwick to feed on. Solosis creates an illusion of Giratina to scare the citizens of Serene Village. The students of the village school eventually discover the deception, but let the culprits go on the condition that they tone down their scaring and secretly help others too. Spoilers end here. Pokedex entries in Gen 5 Black. They drive away attackers by unleashing psychic power. They can use telepathy to talk with others. White. Because their bodies are enveloped in a special liquid, they can survive in any environment. Black 2 and White 2. Because their bodies are enveloped in a special liquid, they are fine in any environment, no matter how severe. In Gen 6, X is the same entry. Y is Black's entry. Omega Ruby is Black 2, Y2, and X's entry. And Alpha Sapphire is Black and Y's entry. In Gen 8's sword, it communicates with others telepathically. Its body is encapsulated in liquid, but if it takes a heavy blow, the liquid will leak out. Shield. Many say that the special liquid covering this Pokemon's body would allow it to survive in the vacuum of space. In Gen 9, Scarlet is White's entry. Violet is Black, Y, and Alpha Sapphire's entries. Solosis in the Blueberry Pokedex. Next to the strange structures, we got 4 of them. Wonder if they're related to each other. Certainly would be interesting. They certainly seem to be taking the shade of the Solosis. Huh. Game locations. Side game locations. Held items in Black 2 and White 2, it has the Person Berry, 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 45, attack 30, defense 40, special attack 105, special defense 50, speed 20 for a total of 290. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark for double. Immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic all for half. Learn set by leveling up. 1. Confusion and Protect. 4. Recover. 8. Endeavor. 12. Psybeam. 16. Charm. 20. Psyshock. 24. Light Screen and Reflect. 28. Ally Switch. 33. Pain Split. 36. Psychic. 40. Skill Swap. 44. Future Sight. And 48. Wonder Room. By TM 002 Charm. 7. Protect. 16. Psybeam. 17. Confuse Ray. 25. Facade. 32. Swift. 36. Rock Tomb. 41. Sword Power. 42. Nightshade. 47. Endure. 49. Sunny 50. Rain Dance. 54. Psyshock. 59. Zen Headbutt. 70. Sleep Talk. 74. Reflect. 75. Light Screen. 82. Thunder Wave. 85. Rest. 86. Rock Slide. 92. Imprison. 93. Flash Cannon. 98. Skill Swap. 103. Substitute. 104. Iron Defense. 109. Trick. 114. Shadow Ball. 119. Energy Ball. 120. Psychic. 122. Encore. 129. Calm Mind. 130. Helping Hand. 138. Psychic Terrain. 161. Trick Room. 166. Thunder. 171. Terra Blast. 178. Gravity. 180. Gyro Ball. 202. Pain Split. 203. Psych Up. 205. Endeavor. 217. Future Sight. And 218. Expanding Force. By breeding, this group gives it Acid Armor, this group gives it Astonish, and this group gives it Confuse Ray. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 wanders beyond in the Pokepark pad entry. He does things while thinking about other Pokemon's feelings. What he does is not wrong, so it's okay after all. Got all this. Evolution data, Solosis, level 32, Duosion, level 41.
Reuniclus!
Sprites here, so... got... darker green liquid. Pretty much the same, though. A little bit more simplified. Not as stretchy, but not as long as the mouth. Shiny is the blue liquid instead. Maybe a lighter body color. In Gen 6, you get the models, and it has that cool see-through effect. This one didn't really have it. Kind of like the cast forms have it. By slightly different colors as well. In Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation, Solosis in Pokemon the series, Black and White. Got all the Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 35, Nash's Pokedex. Solosis, the cell Pokemon. A membrane filled with fluid surrounds Solosis' body, which allows it to live anywhere. It defeats its enemies using its formidable psychic powers. In the manga, Solosis in Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. In the TCG, trivia, I read this point in the Gothita section. Origin, Solosis, and the rest of its evolutionary line seems to bear reference to cells, with the head representing the nucleus, the green substance surrounding their bodies resembling cytoplasm, and the objects inside their bodies representing organelles. They may also represent the process of mitosis as hinted by their Pokemon categories, and the fact that the line down their head also resembles a cleavage furrow may also make allusion to the embryonary stages, specifically the stages of Morula. Solosis' ability to survive in extreme conditions, including the vacuum of space, may be inspired by extremophiles or other highly resistant microanimals, such as the tardigrade. Name origin, Solosis may be a combination of solo, singular, and meiosis or mitosis cell division. Uniran may be a combination of uni, prefix meaning one, as in unicellular organism, and ran, egg cell, may also refer to, say, uniron, Spanish for they will join together, as Solosis appears to be made of two parts. In other languages... External links, let's move on. Since we watched the first scene in the anime featuring Solosis in the Gothorita anime section, let's watch the second scene featuring Solosis. Before we do, though, I'll let you know for this section, the Ducklett and Vanillite anime sections, and the remainder of the redone parts of the Bulbapedia sections, I have a new microphone. I'll sound a bit off for the Solosis section, as I didn't quite have the audio settings figured out yet, but I should sound better in the later sections. Hello and welcome to the Solosis anime section. Today we'll be watching episode 692, Where Did You Go? I don't know. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his traveling companions, Iris and Silent, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu, and Iris's Exu, were walking in a forest when an Audino appeared and walked past them. Then the fog cleared, and they were confronted by Officer Jenny and two kids, one with a Gothita and one with a Solosis. Ash, Pikachu, Silent,
journey
Iris,
to Nimbasa City
Exu,
has been brought to a
Solosis,
screeching
Gothita,
halt,
Officer
thanks
Jenny.
to an unexplained run-in with the law.
Okay, I would say that's the second scene of Solosis in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's look at Duosion's Bulbapedia article.
Hello and welcome to the Duosion Bulbapedia section of the video. It is the mitosis Pokemon. Its number is 0578. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic. Abilities, Overcoat or Magic Guard. Regenerators, its hidden ability. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 100 or 21.7%. Breeding is a group amorphous. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 2 foot or 0.6 meters. Weight is 17.6 pounds or 8 kilograms. Base experience seals 130. Leveling rate is medium slow. AVL is 2 and special attack. Shape is that. Has no feet so it has no footprint. Pokedex color is green and base friendship is 70. Duosion is a Psychic type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Solosis starting at level 32 and evolves into
Reuniclus!
starting at level 41. Biology, Duosion is a pale green Pokemon with a large head, stubby arms, and a body that tapers to a point at the bottom. It has oval black eyes and a red diamond-shaped mouth. It is encased in a darker green, gelatinous substance that forms small round bumps on the lower sides and over Duosion's head. A small circular piece of matter floats inside the substance over this Pokemon's head. It has two brains, which think independently, causing it to attempt two different actions at once. However, when its brains think alike, it exhibits great psychic powers, which are said to be able to travel half a mile away. Evolution, Duosion evolves from Solosis and evolves into
Reuniclus!
So Solosis, Duosion.
Reuniclus!
Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black. Since they have two divided brains, at times they suddenly try to take two different actions at once. White. When their brains, now divided in two, are thinking the same thoughts, these Pokemon exhibit their maximum power. Black 2 and White 2. When their two divided brains think the same thoughts, their psychic power is maximized. In Gen 6, X is Black's entry, Y is Black 2 and White 2's entry, Omega Ruby is Black, and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 8, Sword, its psychic power can supposedly cover a range of more than half a mile, but only if its two brains can agree with each other. Shield, its brain has split into two, and the two halves rarely think alike. Its actions are utterly unpredictable. In Gen 9, Scarlet is Black, X and Omega Ruby's entry, and Violet is White's entry. Duosion in the Blueberry Pokedex. So I've got a bunch of Duosion here, and a Solosis. Around the blocks again, that's interesting. Game locations. Side game location. Held items in Black 2 and White 2. It has the Person Berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 65, attack 40, defense 50, special attack 125, special defense 60, speed 30 for a total of 370. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark, all for double. Immune to nothing, resistant to fighting, and psychic for half. Learn set by leveling up will go down to 32. 35 pain split, 40 psychic, 46 skill swap, 52 future sight, and 58 wonder room. By TM we're skipping. By breeding we're skipping. Nothing by prior evolution. Side game data, got all this. Pokepark 2 wanders beyond the Pokepark pet entry. He's even worse than Solosis at paying attention to his surroundings. He thinks that he wants to invent something greater than
Reuniclus!
his invention someday. Evolution data, Solosis, level 32, Duosion, level 41.
Reuniclus!
Sprites here, so a little darker colors, that makes sense. More or less the same. And the shinies, just the darker, that kind of bluish color, like Solosis's was. In Gen 6, get the models. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Of course, the encasing effect. Yes. In Gen 7, not really much changes. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Homes, you get these models. Animation. Duosion in Pokemon the series, Black and White. We got Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 45 in Ash's Pokedex. Duosion, the mitosis Pokemon, and the evolved form of Solosis. Because Duosion's brain is divided into two, it can produce tremendous power when both parts share the same thought. In the manga, Duosion in Pokemon Adventures. In the TCG, trivia read this point in the Gothorita video, Origin, Duosion and the rest of its evolutionary line seem to bear reference to cells with the green substance surrounding their bodies resembling cytoplasm, and the objects inside their bodies representing organelles. They may also represent the process of mitosis, as hinted by their Pokemon categories and the fact the line down their head also resembles a cleavage furrow. It may also make allusion to the embryonary stages, specifically when the embryo is fully developed to become into a fetus, while the green jelly may represent the amniotic fluid. Name origin, Duosion may be a combination of duo, two, and fission, division, or fusion. Dublin may be a combination of double and ran, egg cell. In other languages, external links, let's move on.
Since we watched Duosion's first scene in the anime in the Sigilith video, let's watch Duosion's second scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Duosion anime section of the video. We're watching the 14th movie. This scene exists in both versions of the film. In this film, all you really need to know is that a man named Damon is using the power of Victini here to move a giant castle that's actually a sword back to his homeland. Don't really know if that's really all that important. But he's going to use the power of a bunch of Pokemon, including Duosion. There's Duosion, Solosis, the others. That is Duosion's second scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's look at the Bulbapedia article of
Reuniclus!
Hello and welcome to the
Reuniclus!
Bulbapedia section. It's the multiplying Pokemon. Its number is 0579. This is what it looks like. Its type is Psychic. Abilities, Overcoat or Magic Guard. Regenerators, its ability. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 50 or 12.9%. Breeding is a group Amorphous. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 3'3" or 1 meter. Weight is 44.3 pounds or 20 kilograms. Base experience yield is 221. Leveling rate is medium slow. AVL is 3 in special attack. Shape is that. It has no feet, so it has no footprint. Pokedex color is green and base friendship is 70.
Reuniclus!
Is a Psychic type Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves from Duosion, starting at level 41. It is the final form of Solosis. Biology
Reuniclus!
is a pale green Pokemon surrounded by a blob of translucent green gelatinous substance. It has a large round head with a thin stripe down the center. Its eyes are black and oval, while its mouth is red and triangular. Its body is small with stubby arms and legs. However, there are several round objects floating next to its arms. These objects increase its size and darken in color the further they are from the body, and form arm-like appendages. The gel around these appendages forms 3 fingered hands above its head. 2 rounded triangular objects are suspended in the gel, giving the impression of horns or ears. The gel forms a stubby, round tail at the base of
Reuniclus!
his body.
Reuniclus!
Controls its powerful arms using psychic powers. It can form a network with the brains of other
Reuniclus!
by clasping hands with them. It is said that the power of
Reuniclus!
is so great it can crush boulders psychokinetically. Although capable of using its psychic powers in battle,
Reuniclus!
prefers to use its large arms to pummel opponents, drinking the liquid covering.
Reuniclus!
His body is said to grant wisdom, however, the liquid is extremely toxic. Evolution
Reuniclus!
evolves from Duosion as the final form of Solosis. So, Solosis, Duosion.
Reuniclus!
Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black, when
Reuniclus!
shakes hands. A network forms between their brains, increasing their psychic power. White, these remarkably intelligent Pokemon fight by controlling arms that can grip with rock-crushing power. Black 2 and White 2. They use psychic power to control their arms, which are made of a special liquid. They can crush boulders psychically. In Gen 6, X is the same entry, Y is Black's entry, Omega Ruby is Black 2, White 2, and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black and Y's entry. In Gen 8 Sword, while it could use its psychic abilities in battle, this Pokemon prefers to swing its powerful arms around to beat opponents into submission. Shield, it's said that drinking the liquid surrounding
Reuniclus!
grants wisdom. Problem is, the liquid is highly toxic to anything besides
Reuniclus!
itself. In Gen 9 Scarlet, their arms are made of a special liquid. They use psychic power to control these arms and crush boulders. Violet is Black, Y, and Alpha Sapphire's entry.
Reuniclus!
In the Blueberry Pokedex, it's a full evolutionary line image. It's got Solosis, Duosion, and
Reuniclus!
they're not as close to the objects, so maybe they're not that connected to the objects. Strange structures. Game locations. Side game location. Held items in Black 2 and White 2. It has the person berry 50% of the time. Stats, base stats, HP 110, attack 65, defense 75, special attack 125, special defense 85, speed 30 for a total of 490. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ground, rock, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, ice, dragon, and fairy. Weak to bug, ghost, and dark, all for double. Immune to nothing. Resistant to fighting and psychic for half. Learn step by leveling up. We'll do this Evo here, and they go down to 41. So upon evolution, it gets Hammer Arm. 48 Skill Swap, 56 Future Sight, and 64 Wonder Room. By TM, we're skipping. By breeding, we're skipping. Nothing by prior evolution. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 enters Beyond in the Pokepark Pet entry. He bases his decisions on whether or not something is fun, more than on morals or common sense. Got all this. Evolution data, Solosis, level 32 Duosion, level 41.
Reuniclus!
Sprites here, so actually a lot taller than the official art. That's interesting. Yeah, darker colors, of course. You got the blue. It's just much darker blue than Solosis and Duosion's is. Definitely a lot more actually blue. The red is replaced by this light blue, orange by the green. Yeah. In Gen 6, you get the models and the different colors. Looks wildly different than its pre-evolved forms with all the bubbly parts. Yeah. And try slightly lighter colors, like the, of course, that has the effect. I really like the shiny in this version. I like this kind of blue. In Gen 7, not really much changes. Does it get shorter? Might get shorter, I don't know. In Gen 8, you get the much better models. Oh, they make the shiny much more aligned with the sprites shiny. It's much of the sort of purple blue. Homes to get these models. Interesting. Animation.
Reuniclus!
In Pokemon the series, Black and White. Got all the Pokedex entries in Black and White, episode 91, in Dawn's Pokedex.
Reuniclus!
The multiplying Pokemon in the evolved form of Duosion. Several
Reuniclus!
can amplify their psychic powers when they clasp hands and their brains form a network. Pokemon Masters anime trailer.
Reuniclus!
Lower left in the Pokemon Masters anime trailer. It's also a Bronzong in the manga.
Reuniclus!
In the adaptation of White, Victini, and Zekrom. In the TCG trivia, I read this first point in the Gothitelle section.
Reuniclus!
Was designed by Kiko Morizuko Origin.
Reuniclus!
And the rest of its evolutionary line seem to bear reference to cells, with the green substance surrounding their bodies resembling cytoplasm, and the objects inside their bodies representing organelles. They may also represent the process of mitosis, as hinted by their Pokemon categories and the fact the line down their head also resembles a cleavage furrow.
Reuniclus!
Being able to form a network and get stronger when shaking hands with other
Reuniclus!
may hint at their hands being based specifically on neurons and their synapses.
Reuniclus!
May also make allusion to the embryonary stages, specifically when the embryo is fully developed to become a fetus. While the green jelly may represent the amniotic fluid, it may also be based on a homunculus, hinting specifically at the sensory motor homunculi due to its large, disproportionate body parts, namely its head, arms, and mouth, may also be based partially on an amoeba, with its arms resembling pseudopods.
Reuniclus!
May have also been inspired by extraterrestrial creatures, as it is visually alien to animal-based Pokemon resembling a small gray humanoid suspended within a gelatinous liquid. This is supported by Solosis' Pokedex entries, which state that its body can withstand extremely harsh environments, such as the vacuum of space. The extraterrestrial theme is reinforced by
Reuniclus!
its counterpart, Gothitelle, which is associated with astrology and celestial observation. Name origin
Reuniclus!
may be a combination of reunite and homunculus, nucleus, or cluster. Lanculus may be a combination of ran, egg cell, and nucleus or homunculus. Now, languages, references, external links. Let's move on.
Now let's watch the first scene in the anime featuring
Reuniclus!
Hello and welcome to the
Reuniclus!
anime section of the video. Today we are watching Pokemon the movie, White, Victini, and Zekrom. In this film, we're towards the beginning. Yeah, nothing else has really happened yet. There is the Reuniclus. And that is
Reuniclus!
first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Before we get into the Ducklett Bulbapedia section, I want to mention a YouTube short that I didn't watch before making its video. On the Japanese YouTube channel, there's a YouTube short that is part of the Poketoon series, whose name translates to I Love Ducklett. In the short, a boy is shown growing up with a ducklet. It's a very cute and well-made video. Now let's read the Ducklett Bulbapedia article.
Hello and welcome to the Ducklett Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the water bird Pokemon. Its number is 0508. This is what it looks like. Its type is water flying. Abilities, Keen Eye or Big Pecs. Hydration is its inability. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 190 or 35.2%. Breeding is 8 groups. Water 1 and flying. Hatch time 20 cycles. Height is 1 foot 8 or 0.5 meters. Weight is 12.1 pounds or 5.5 kilograms. Base experience yield is 61. Leveling rate is medium fast. EV is 1 and HP. Shape is that. Footprint is that. Pokedex color is blue and base friendship is 70. Ducklett is a dual type water/flying Pokemon introduced in Gen 5. It evolves into Swanna starting at level 35. Biology, Ducklett is a light blue duckling-like Pokemon. It has 2 feathery tufts on its head that connect at the bottom, forming a V-shape. It has a darker blue feathery underside, which makes it appear as if it were in mid-molt. It has yellow, webbed feet and a small tail. Ducklett lives around ponds and rivers. Ducklett is not very good at flying yet, so it tends to watch its Swanna parents' movements in an effort to learn. It is better at swimming than flying. It is a talented diver and can spray water from its feathers for self-defense. The foe is distracted by the spray, allowing Ducklett to escape. Ducklett can train its body by diving into the depths of ponds. This increases its strength to help it search for its favorite food. Ducklett's diet consists of both peat and bog moss. Evolution, Ducklett evolves into Swanna, so Ducklett, Swanna. Game data, Pokedex entries. In Gen 5, Black. These bird Pokemon are excellent divers. They swim around in the water, eating their favorite food, peat moss. White. When attacked, it uses its feathers to splash water, escaping under cover of the spray. Black 2 and White 2, they are better at swimming than flying, and they happily eat their favorite food, peat moss, as they dive underwater. In Gen 6, X is White's entry, Y is Black 2 and White 2's entry, Mega Ruby is White and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black 2, White 2, and Y's entry. In Gen 9, Scarlet is not very good at flying yet. It watches the dances of its Swanna parents to learn how to move its wings. Violet, it strengthens its body by diving into the depths of ponds, swimming around while looking for bog moss to eat. Ducklett in the Kitakami Pokedex. Got a couple of them swimming in the shallow water here. We got one on land. Game locations. Side game locations. Stats, base stats, HP 62, attack 44, defense 50, special attack 44, special defense 50, speed 55 for a total of 305. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ghost, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to rock for double and electric for 4. Immune to ground, resistant to fighting, bug, steel, fire, and water all for half. Notes that gravity is an effect. This Pokemon is given an Iron Ball or a Ring target, or is affected by Smackdown or Ingrain. The effectiveness of ground-type moves is 1, so go from 0 to 1. Learn set by leveling up. 1 Water Gun, 6 Defog, 9 Wing Attack, 13 Water Pulse, 15 Aerial Ace, 19 Bubble Beam, 21 Feather Dance, 24 Aqua Ring, 27 Air Slash, 30 Roost, 34 Rain Dance, 37 Tailwind, 41 Brave Bird, and 46 Hurricane. By TM007 Protect, 11 Water Pulse, 19 Disarming Voice, 20 Trailblaze, 22 Chilling Water, 25 Facade, 27 Aerial Ace, 32 Swift, 34 Icy Wind, 40 Air Cutter, 47 Endure, 50 Rain Dance, 65 Air Slash, 70 Sleep Talk, 85 Rest, 97 Fly, 103 Substitute, 110 Liquidation, 113 Tailwind, 123 Surf, 130 Helping Hand, 135 Ice Beam, 160 Hurricane, 164 Brave Bird, 171 Terra Blast, 204 Double Edge, 205 Endeavor, 208 Whirlpool, and 216 Feather Dance. By breeding, this group gives it Aqua Jet, this group gives it Brine, and this group gives it Dive, this group gives it Endeavor, this group gives it Gust, and this group gives it Steel Wing. Side game data, you got all this. Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond in the Pokepark Pad entry. When they go to Windmill Way, Magikarp acts like a king and orders them around, so they pretend not to hear it. This. New Pokemon Snap in the Photodex entry. These Ducklett were born and raised on the lake in the nature park. They're not great flyers yet, but they'll eventually learn by watching and imitating Swanna. In Pokemon Go, Ducklett can be obtained by completing 3/5 of the time-limited special research Season of Legends. Evolution data, Ducklett, level 35, Swanna. Sprites, so a lot more blue than the modern blue. It's interesting. Or duck-like. I guess the angle doesn't really show off what it looks like in that angle. Pink and purple for the shiny. That makes sense. Gen 6. You get the much lighter colors and the models, of course. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. A lot less fluffy, the bottom part. Definitely looks much more like a inner tube. In Gen 7, it may change a little bit, little details, maybe in the mouth, but not too much. The beak, whatever. Homes, you can get these models. Animation, Ducklett in Pokemon the series, black and white. Got all these. Pokedex entries in Black and White Episode 20 in Ash's Pokedex. Ducklett, the water bird Pokemon. A skilled diver, Ducklett swims under water in search of its favorite food, peat moss. Poketoon in the manga, Ducklett in Pokemon Adventures. Got all this, the TCG. Trivia, I read this first point in the developer video. Despite Ducklett not being present in Pokemon Sword and Shield, Honey refers to Clara, Sword, / Avery, Shield, as a bit of an odd Ducklett in the Isle of Armor. Origin, Ducklett seems to be based on a duckling or cygnet. Its bottom plumage also resembles a swim ring, while its evolved form has similar plumage that resembles a bikini. Its evolutionary line may also be based on the fairy tale The Ugly Duckling, in which the ugly duckling someday becomes a beautiful swan. Name origin, Ducklett may be a corruption of Ducklet, possibly combined with wet or et, suffix meaning small. Korui may be a combination of ko, child, or ko, small, and a corruption of Aryu, duck. Now languages, external links, let's move on.
Now let's watch Ducklett's first scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Ducklett anime portion of the video. Today we are watching episode 677, quite fittingly, Dancing with the Ducklett Trio. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his traveling companion, Iris, were battling between Ash's Scraggy and Iris's Axu when they were called to a meal by Ash's other traveling companion, Silent. This is Ash's Pikachu. There's Ducklett.
Let's go, Scrag.
And that is Ducklett's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Before we get into the Swanna Bulbapedia section, I forgot to mention that Swanna appears in the Tinkatink video in the animated Pokedex series. Now let's read Swanna's Bulbapedia article.
Hello and welcome to the Swanna Bulbapedia section of the video. It's the white bird Pokemon. Its number is 0581. This is what it looks like. Its type is water flying. Abilities, Keen Eye or Big Pecs. Hydration is its inability. Gender ratio is 50-50. Catch rate is 45 or 11.9%. Breeding is 8 groups. Water 1 and flying. Catch time 20 cycles. Height is 4'3" or 1.3 meters. Weight is 53.4 pounds or 24.2 kilograms. Base experience yields 166. Evolving Rate is medium fast, EV is 2 in speed, shape is that, footprint is that, Pokédex color is white, and base friendship is 70. Swanna is a dual-type water/flying Pokemon introduced to Gen 5. It evolves from Ducklett starting at level 35. Biology, Swanna is a swan-like Pokemon with primarily white plumage. Its beak is long and yellow, topped with a black serrae, and it has several white feathery features adorning its head. The more rounded of the features are to the sides of its head, and the more pointed feature is atop. Swanna possesses a long, curving neck with a fluid neck and a strong bill. Swanna is capable of very accurately jabbing and thrusting attacks. 2 light blue feathery features similar to those on the sides of Swanna's head are present on Swanna's underside, and Swanna's large wings are positioned so that they curve away from its body. Swanna's legs are small, and its web feet are dark. Swanna is known to fly for thousands of miles without rest, and it flies out when the sun rises. At dusk, flocks of Swanna will dance, with the leader in the middle of the routine. Swanna is quite physically powerful for its graceful appearance, as its beak can deliver forceful blows. Many artists have claimed to have taken inspiration from a Swanna performing a beautiful dance during the light of dawn. Evolution, Swanna evolves from Ducklett, so Ducklett, Swanna. Game data, NPC appearances, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Gates to Infinity. Swanna is a major character in the game and runs the Swanna House in Post Town, which is a hotel/restaurant. Pokédex entries, so for those of you who are not watching this in the Pokemon Year Cycle playlist, this will be the final time that I read the Gen 5 Pokédex entries. All Bulbapedia sections after this were the end of their Bulbapedia section rather than this part. Also, this will be the final time that the Gen 6 entries will be based on the Gen 5 entries. Gen 5, Black. Swanna, start to dance at dusk. The one dancing in the middle is the leader of the flock. White. It administers sharp, powerful pecks with its bill. It whips its long neck to deliver forceful, repeated strikes. Black 2 and White 2. Despite their elegant appearance, they can flap their wings strongly and fly for thousands of miles. In Gen 6, X is the same entry, Y is Black's entry, Omega Ruby is Black 2, White 2, and X's entry, and Alpha Sapphire is Black and Y's entry. In Gen 9, Scarlet, centered around its leader, the flock dances in perfect sync to strengthen its unity. Violet, it's said that many artists have taken inspiration from the sight of Swanna performing a beautiful dance in the light of dawn. Swanna, the Kitakami Pokedex. So you got a full evolutionary line image. You got a couple of Ducklett and a couple of Swanna. These maybe were 2 Ducklett that were swimming earlier. Seems like they're the same area. Game locations. Side game locations. Stats, base stats, HP 75, attack 87, defense 63, special attack 87, special defense 63, speed 98, for a total of 473. Type effectiveness, damage normally by normal, flying, poison, ghost, grass, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, and fairy. Weak to rock for double and electric for 4, immune to ground, resistant to fighting, bug, steel, fire, and water all for half. Notes, if gravity is an effect, this Pokemon is given an iron ball or a ring target or is affected by smackdown or ingrain, the effectiveness of ground type moves is 1. So go from 0 to 1. Lancet, by leveling up, will go down to 35. 40, Tailwind, 47, Brave Bird, and 55, Hurricane. By TM we're skipping, by breeding we're skipping. Special moves, in this event it can get Disarming Voice and Icy Wind. Animated series only moves. It has the move Blizzard. It's an Ice-type move in the episode Crisis at Ferocid Research. Side game data, got this. Pokepark 2, Wonders Beyond. For those of you not watching this in the Pokemon Year Cycle playlist, this is the final Pokepark 2 Wonders Beyond entry. In the Pokepark pad entry, they are on a vacation. They like the clean air and pure water in the arcane area. They compete against each other for beauty and speed. Got this. New Pokemon Snap in the Photodex entry. Swanna migrate to the lake in the nature park for the winter. When spring arrives, they all take flight at once. It's like a scene straight out of a painting. Evolution data, Ducklett, level 35, Swanna. Before I get into sprites here, for those of you not watching this in the Pokemon Year Cycle playlist, this is the final time that I will be mentioning the sprites. Sprites here, so darker colors, particularly in the blue part, but more or less the same. Oh, I can see its wings. Oh, that's fun. Purple for the blue part, and then sort of a pink tint, I guess, for the feathers, or the white part. In Gen 6, get the models, of course, as per usual, like any flying Pokemon, it has its wings all the way out in the image here. Pretty good adaptation, I'd say. Yeah. Beak color changes? That's interesting. Actually, kind of swaps the two. That's interesting. Because this is a much lighter yellow, and it's kind of this golden color. But now it's kind of the golden color. This is the lighter color. In Gen 7... Oh, it seems like... Yeah, okay. It's a lot brighter in this one for some reason, but more or less the same, I think. Homes, you get these models. Animation... Swanna and Pokemon Horizons, the series. Skyless Swanna's the big one. Got all this. Pokedex entries in Black and White, Episode 21, in Ash's Pokedex. Swanna, the white bird Pokemon, and the evolved form of Ducklett. Because of its long, powerful neck, Swanna can deliver forceful attacks with its beak. Black and White, Episode 67, in the same Pokedex. Swanna, the white bird Pokemon, and the evolved form of Ducklett. Swanna uses its long neck to attack repeatedly and rapidly with exceptional strength. Black and White, Episode 130, in the same Pokedex. Swanna, the white bird Pokemon. Swanna uses its bill and long neck to deliver powerful strikes repeatedly. Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 animated trailer. Swanna in the animated trailer. Pokemon Generations, Swanna and Pokemon Generations. All this. In the manga, Swanna and Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. In the CCG trivia, Swanna was first seen in a video for the Pokemon musicals. Again, when its art leaked on Yahoo's Pokemon website. And finally, in the September issue of Koro, Swanna is the only Pokemon with a base stat total of 473. Origin, Swanna is based on a mute swan, and its evolutionary line is based on the fairy tale, The Ugly Duckling. Additionally, its design seems to draw inspiration from the outfit worn by the main character of the Swan Lake Ballet, Odette. Name origin, Swanna is derived from swan and may be a combination of swan and ballerina. The languages, related articles, external links, let's move on.
Since we watched Swanna's first scene in the anime, in the Servine and P-Dub videos, let's watch Swanna's second scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Swanna anime section of the video. We are watching episode 658, In the Shadow of Zekrom. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his mother, Delia Ketchum, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu, and Professor Oak have come to Unova for a vacation. They've met up with Professor Oak's friend and the local Pokemon professor, Professor Juniper, and she's taking them to her lab. There's Swanna. Closely.
Pokemon we've never seen before.
Okay. And that is Swanna's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Before we move on, I wanted to mention a newer way I know of Vanillite, which is that it was a recruitable Pokemon in the recent Chili Vanillite event in Pokemon Cafe Remix. Now let's finish Vanillite's Bulbapedia section.
Pokedex entries in Black and White, Episode 31 in Ash's Pokedex. Vanillite, the first snow Pokemon. Vanillite's breath is more than 50 degrees below zero when it exhales, creating ice crystals and causing it to snow. X and Y, Episode 57 in Serena's Pokedex. Vanillite, the fresh snow Pokemon. Vanillite is created from ice crystals that are illuminated by the morning sun. Its breath is 58 degrees below zero. In the manga, Vanillite and Pokemon Adventures. Got all this. In the TCG trivia, according to Game Freak, Vanillite and its evolved forms were designed by James Turner. For the second point in the Glaceon video, Vanillite resembles a Castelia cone. Vanillite and its evolved form, Vanillish, are the only Ice-type Pokemon consisting of a head and a base. Origin, Vanillite is based on a soft-serve ice cream served in a small cup, or a child-sized miniature ice cream cone. It also somewhat resembles a snowball. Name origin, Vanillite may be a combination of vanilla and light reduced or possibly delight, as well as stalactite. Vanipeti may be a combination of vanilla and petite, French for small. And our languages, references, external links, let's move on.
Now let's watch Vanillite's first scene in the anime.
Hello and welcome to the Vanillite anime section of the video. Today we are watching episode 688, Ash and Trip's third battle. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his faithful Pokemon Pikachu were in a competition with his traveling companion Iris and her Axu to swing vines when Ash tripped and fell down a hill. This is Vanillite. And this is about where we started the Palpitoad video, so we're going to stop here. Let's move on.
Now let's finish the Bulbapedia section of Vanillish.
Pokedex entries. I've already recorded this first one in the anime section, so I'll let Ash's Pokedex read it.
Vanillish, the icy snow Pokémon, and the evolved form of Vanillite. Vanillish migrated southward long ago during an ice age, and now lives on snow-covered mountains.
In Black and White, episode 79, in Ash's Pokedex. Vanillish, the icy snow Pokemon, and the evolved form of Vanillite. Vanillish creates ice energy internally by drinking water from lakes or rivers. In XY, episode 57, in Serena's Pokedex.
Vanillish, the icy snow Pokemon, and the evolved form of Vanillite. Vanillish forms ice particles in the air by cooling it down, then uses them to freeze opponents.
In the manga, Vanillish in Pokemon Adventures. You got 3 of them. Got all this, the TCG. Trivia. I read both of these points in the Vanillite section. Origin, Vanillish, is based on a soft-serve ice cream served in an ice cream cone with snow for the scoop and ice for the waffle cone. The cone itself also resembles an icicle. Name origin, Vanillish may be a combination of vanilla and delish, slang for delicious. Vanarich may be a combination of vanilla and rich. And languages, references, related articles, external links. Let's move on.
Now let's watch the first scene in the anime featuring Vanillish.
Hello and welcome to the Vanillish anime section of the video. Today we are watching episode 714, The Mighty Excelgor. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, traveling companions Silent and Iris, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris' Exu, have come to Castelia City, where they have met Charles and his Excelgor, and Linda and her Timber. Charles has a secret identity as the Mighty Excelgard. He is now taking on a supervillain called Cryogonal Man, who's the leader of Team Vanillite, and he's sending out his Pokemon. Vanillish? Oh, surprise.
Vanillish, the icy snow Pokémon, and the evolved form of Vanillite. Vanillish migrated southward long ago during an ice age, and now lives on snow-covered mountains.
All right, Timber, go and help Mighty Excelgard!
Oh, I guess, yeah, wait, okay. Since that was a battle scene, I guess, I would say that is the first scene of Vanillish in the anime.
Now let's finish the Bulbapedia section of Vanilluxe.
Pokedex entries. I've already recorded this one in the Vanilluxe anime section, so we'll let Attis Pokedex read it.
Vanilluxe, the snowstorm Pokémon, and the evolved form of Vanillish. Vanilluxe produces snow clouds by swallowing great quantities of water. It emits a blizzard when both heads are angered.
In XY, episode 57, in Serena's Pokedex.
Vanilluxe, the snowstorm Pokemon, and the evolved form of Vanillish. Vanilluxe forms internal clouds of snow by swallowing lots of water and can cause violent blizzards when angry.
In the manga, Vanilluxe and Pokemon Adventures. In the TCG. Trivia, Vanilluxe is the only Ice-type Pokemon consisting of multiple bodies. I read the second point in the Vanillite section. Origin, Vanilluxe is based on a soft-serve ice cream served in an ice cream cone with snow for scoops and ice for the waffle cone. Specifically, its double scoop appearance and head appendage resemble a double 99 flake, with the chocolate bar replaced with a rolled wafer. Additionally, Vanilluxe has bits of ice on its heads that resemble sprinkled nut topping. The cone itself resembles icicles, may also be a visual pun on cold-hearted, its silhouette resembling a frozen cartoon heart, while its icy wafer could translate as an aorta or pulmonary artery. According to James Turner, Vanilluxe is also based on American food mascots such as the Pillsbury Doughboy or Grimace, as well as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the 1984 supernatural comedy film Ghostbusters. Turner stated that Vanilluxe's design is meant to evoke that blend of cute/goofy/creepy/happy apparent among mascot designs. Name origin, Vanilluxe may be a combination of vanilla and deluxe. Bi vanilla may be a combination of bi, prefix meaning two, or bi, double, and vanilla. Languages, references, related articles, external links. Let's move on.
Now let's watch the first scene in the anime featuring Vanilluxe.
Hello and welcome to the Vanilluxe anime section of the video. We're watching episode 738, Crisis at Ferocity Research. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, is telling companions Sile and Iris, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Iris's Exu, are walking in this town, talking about taking a boat.
Bank City!
There's the Vanilla. The first scene of Vanilluxe in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's watch Deerling's first scene in the anime. Before we do, though, I should mention that Deerling appears in its spring form.
Hello and welcome to the Deerling anime section of the video. We're watching episode 658, In the Shadow of Zekrom. In this episode, Ash Ketchum, the main character, and his mother, Delia Ketchum, as well as his faithful Pokemon Pikachu and Professor Oak, have come to the Unova region for vacation, and they've met up with Professor Oak's friend and the local Pokemon professor, Professor Juniper, and she's driving them to her lab. And the Deerling in spring form. That is Deerling's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Now let's finish Sawsbuck's Bulbapedia section.
Pokedex entries. I recorded this one in the Sawsbuck anime section, so we'll let Ash's Pokedex read it.
Sawsbuck, the season Pokemon, and the evolved form of Deerling. The plants on Sawsbuck's horns change depending on the time of year, and people often use them to measure the passing of the seasons.
The manga. Winter form Sawsbuck in Pokemon Adventures. Autumn form Sawsbuck in Pokemon Adventures. The TCG. Trivia. Sawsbuck represents January in the Unova horoscope. The design for Sawsbuck was created before the concept of seasons was added to Pokemon Black and White. Origin. Sawsbuck may be based on a Pierre David's deer, a species of deer that decorates its antlers with foliage during the breeding season. Each of its forms appears to visually represent one of the 4 seasons. The progression of the foliage in Sawsbuck's antlers throughout the seasons may be based on a deciduous tree. Sawsbuck may also be based on the 4 stags of Yggdrasil, which eat among the branches of the world tree Yggdrasil in Norse mythology, and are sometimes associated with seasons. Alternatively, it may also be based on Baron Munchausen's tall tale, Reflections on St. Hubert's Stag. In the story, Munchausen shoots a stag using cherry pits in his musket. The stag survives and escapes, and in the following year reappears with a cherry tree growing out of its head. Name origin, Sawsbuck may be a play on sawbuck, framework for holding wood, to be sawn, which contains the word buck, male deer. Saws may also be an acronym for the names of the seasons, summer, autumn, winter, and spring. Mabukijika may be a combination of Mabuki to bud and Shika, deer. And languages for this forms as well. Related articles, references, external links. Let's move on.
Now let's watch Sawsbuck's first scene in the anime. Before we do, though, like Deerling, Sawsbuck appears in its spring form.
Hello and welcome to the Sawsbuck anime portion of the video. Today we're watching episode 676, A Connoisseur's Revenge. In this episode, one of the main characters, Silent, is battling Burgundy, a Pokemon connoisseur, to get revenge. She's about to send out her Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck. I would say that is Sawsbuck's first scene in the anime. Let's move on.
Thank you for watching. As always, this isn't my proper outfit. You'll see me in the next video.